Steel boots stomping, crashing the floor. Two wild yinzers kicking through the door. Loud like a jag-off at a pins game fight. Brace yourself, this ride ain't polite. Two dumb yinzers, loud and proud. Heads in the clouds, voices in the crowd. Chaos brewing, they don't play nice. Hold on to your iron and grab your prime anti-slice. Tales from the burg with a hint of mayhem. Pierogi powered, nothing can constrain them. Knocking back stories like an icy cold brew. You never know what these two might spew. Two dumb yinzers, loud and proud. Heads in the clouds, voices in the crowd. Chaos brewing, they don't play nice.
Good morning, everybody. Yeah, welcome back. Welcome back to the show. This is episode 745 of the Two Dumb Yinzers. I'd like to say to everybody this morning, welcome back. Could you hear me okay, Mike?
Yes, I can. Yes,
okay.
I can. Yeah.
All right. I was looking at a couple of things here before we got on the air. 1%, only 1% of all 8 billion people on the globe, Mike, has been to all. It's actually less than 1%. Has been to all 7 continents.
Oh, wow.
Less than 1% has been to all 7 continents. But get this, a Pittsburgh man, the most recent, he completes the 7-continent tour, and he does it, Mike, with his terrible towel.
Nice. That is what I like to hear.
That's they showed him in I think it was Antarctica, and he has this terrible towel, and but it's just cool because again, this terrible towel, it pops up no matter where you go. What's going on? If our team's good, if we're not good, it's just a national icon, Mike. Anywhere you go, you could see this international. You can see this terrible towel.
Yeah, it's everywhere. It blessed the Pope. Now it's hanging out down in Antarctica. That's awesome. That's badass. And all 7 continents. And we are the best traveling fans.
And you would figure it would probably be less of a percentage to say that that's been to all 7 continents. That's actually been to a Pope, whatever the hell that was, because that Pope, the Vatican's filled with thousands of people, and so I mean, it's a really rare situation to get the terrible towel. And don't get me wrong, it's rare to wave your terrible towel at the Pope's whatever it is that they do, but like it's just again so rare that a terrible towel has touched all 7 continents, along with the less than 1% of all humans that's ever done it, Mike.
It's wild. It's the power of the towel, man.
The power of the towel.
Myron Cope would be proud.
Welcome back, everybody. Welcome from high atop the Two Dumb Yinzers Mountain Studios, wherever we are, Mike. Way up high we are. I don't know where it is, but we're up there. Good morning, Corey. Corey says good afternoon. I haven't been keeping up with the Steelers stuff over the weekend. I can't wait until talk about the trade rumors today. Just a little over a week, Mike. I was off like a couple days. For some reason, I thought it was this week, but next week starts the OTAs on Tuesday.
Yeah.
So we don't have to worry about that just yet. We have 3 days next week. It's Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and then it'll be followed up by 4 days to start June off, the 3rd, the 4th, the 5th, and the 6th. That will be the Steeler OTAs. So starting next Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. So if anybody is waiting for the arrival of Aaron Rodgers, it's probably going to happen, if it does happen, after all that stuff, because I don't think that Aaron wants to do regular people things anymore. I think that he wants to do what Aaron wants to do, and whether it's writing a book or whether it's getting healthy or whether it's going off to the mountains, which everybody would like to do, I'm sure, but Aaron, he gets to have this luxury, and of course, he might probably, until that is all over, I highly doubt we will know if Aaron Rodgers is coming here to play football or not. Again, we have 3 quarterbacks in position, so who knows? I'm still a bit skeptical, but there's a lot of big heads. There's certainly a couple for sure here in town that are saying that Aaron Rodgers, they're pretty confident that he's going to be here. We'll get into that just shortly. Corey also says, so what I just heard you say is we can stop talking about Aaron Rodgers until OTAs are done and when he signs. I want to be honest, Corey, I want to stop talking about him entirely. I just want this to go away. This is again, what Yinzer are you? Are you the traditional Yinzer who doesn't want to be like the Dallas Cowboys and who doesn't want to be like these teams that just brings in these? Because again, I mean, let's just say Aaron Rodgers comes here and wins a Super Bowl. That'd be fantastic. However, is that even a possibility? Is that even a possibility at this point with him? Is that even a possibility with this team? Is this even a possibility right now, just in general? So that makes me wonder and makes me a bit skeptical, guys. And also, again, can Aaron Rodgers get the team to rally around him in the locker room? Are the guys that's been there for ample years, are they going to all stop and just listen to what Aaron Rodgers has to say when it's time to up and get going? And let's just say Aaron Rodgers throws up a pissy fit, or let's say he gets booed after 2 interceptions in an early game. Where's he going to be at? I mean, this isn't his locker room. I mean, technically it would be for that particular season, but again, he's trying to figure, or he's I just assuming because he's the captain of the team, being the quarterback, that things are just going to go the right way, and he doesn't have to get in here and meet everybody and hang out with people and get a cohesiveness. He just wants to come, do what he wants to do, maybe add a couple numbers to his end of his career, and then ride off. This is not a serious quest for Aaron Rodgers. This is a stop along the way for Aaron Rodgers. I don't like it. Again, I could do without it. I don't think we're going to win a Super Bowl with Aaron Rodgers if he comes here this year. So I'm against it entirely. I guess people want the excitement. They want the thrill.
Yeah.
Maybe, just maybe, this 42-year-old quarterback who had 5 wins last year and who was out the whole entire season the year before with an injury could come here and take this team to a promised land that, again, struggled at best to win every single game that they've won over the past 3 or 4 seasons. So again, I'm not all aboard. However, if it happens, I will be there. I will support it. I'll be part of, I'll support my team and cheer them on every week. But ultimately, maybe that's what it is. Maybe they're bringing it in for a joyride because I think we have to rough it out a little bit. That's just my personal opinion. I think the Steelers got to rough it out, go without. I mean, basically, that's what we've been doing, but on the back of Hall of Fame quarterbacks, guys who were once Hall of Fame quarterbacks in this league. Of course, talking about Russell Wilson and then would be Aaron Rodgers. So, guys, we'll get into that here a lot more. There is a lot of things we got to go over. We have a big day today. I do have a special guest interview with Speech Impediment Man, of course, one of the Whack Packers from the Howard Stern Show. He is a lifelong Minnesota Viking fan, and that'll be coming up here shortly, guys. Let's get through what we got here. Jen, good morning to you on the board.
Good morning.
Jen, my volume seems so low. Can you hear me?
I can hear you fine.
All right.
Yeah, you're good, man.
All right,
you're good. Every volume, I didn't mess with it this time. This time.
Jen says, good morning. Good morning to you, Jen. Great seeing you as always on this wonderful Monday morning. Corey says, I'm rooting for Will Howard at this point. I know that means Rudolph is doo-doo water, but Howard has the intangibles to grow into number one. Let's learn it. Let's take the season and learn about our rookie quarterback. I'm not saying start him right off the bat. I'm not saying throw him into the wolves. I'm not saying give him an uphill battle. But we do have kind of a situation that we can learn about our rookie quarterback. And again, we may not even need a quarterback in next year's draft. Maybe this guy comes in and has a Washington Commanders type season. I mean, it's unlikely, but we've seen that it could happen. Caitlin Clark. Now, you know what? Matter of fact, I'll jump into that first, Jen. The WNBA kicked off on Friday, but on Saturday, Mike, the big game, the one that I was waiting for, at least for sure, was the big matchup between the Indiana Fever and the Chicago Sky, the matchup between Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese. It had all the makings, Mike, of a storyline that's worthy of carrying the WNBA.
Yeah.
Whether the NWA, you know what? WNBA. I started reading Tortilla's post and it was turned into NWA. WNBA, Mike, they should really run with this storyline because I think that it could be very, very beneficial. The battle, the rivalry, if you will, between Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese. It didn't upset over the weekend.
No.
A lot of people got excited by what was going on. Let me just give you the scoop first. The Indiana Fever, they do win the game, Mike. They win it in a impressive fashion. They win 93-58 over Chicago. That puts the Indiana Fever to 1-0 record, in the Sky to 0-1 record. Caitlin Clark, she has a triple-double, and she led the whole entire game in scoring with 20 points. She had 10 rebounds, 10 assists. Angel Reese had 12 points and 17 assists. Not anything to laugh about. I mean, that's a great game as well.
Yeah.
17 boards. I mean, come on, you're talking Dennis Rodman numbers here. But the game itself, it got interesting during a foul call. Let me see what I got here. This is actually an interesting write here by Robert Griffin III. RG3 actually wrote this article. And this is interesting. It says, Angel Reese hates Caitlin Clark. It's staring us all right in the face, but people are afraid to say it. Won't answer questions about Caitlin Clark. She won't. Also gets mad when people praise Caitlin Clark for the explosion of popularity around women's basketball. She celebrates when her teammates flagrantly foul Clark, goes after and tries to punch Clark after a routine, make them earn it foul after Angel Reese fouled Aaliyah Boston when a push in the back that wasn't called. Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese, this is going to be, again, if you don't play this as the Larry Bird, Magic Johnson rivalry back in the day, you were dumb. You're stupid. You're going to squander this opportunity in the WNBA whenever we want to be anything. You have to take advantage, Mike. Really put these people under the microscope. And again, until you get a couple other people that are going to be story worthy, somebody that people are going to talk about at the water cooler the next day, you have to wring these two out till they're dry. I mean, come on, this is a storyline.
Milk it.
You have to milk this thing.
Yeah.
If you don't, shame on the WNBA, not the NWA.
Not the NWA. But
shame on them, Mike. And I think if they don't, they missed out on something big with this one.
Yeah, they did. That whole sequence was comical because it was not that hard of a foul. The flop added to it, which was great. The getting up and wanting to fight as the other person walks away was even better. It was a great visual. It reminds you of the NBA of the late 80s, early 90s, when a fight could break out at any moment. So, capitalize on that.
Absolutely. And, a fight is not a positive thing, but you can certainly
the emotions
spin it with the emotions and the two players. And I think it's crazy. It's crazy not to, Mike. It's they have to do this.
Yeah.
But of course,
Caitlin goes in there. How do you lose by 35 points though?
Okay. I listen, like I told you yesterday, now that Caitlin Clark is now that she's comfortable, inexperienced and has a year under her belt. Last year, she didn't know what to expect. She came out a great basketball player out of college. Yeah. She just didn't know what to expect. She got to the WNBA, and had to learn the ropes. And you had to go in, and you don't know what to expect. Maybe you're going to get treated differently. Maybe this, maybe that. So she got that under her belt, Mike. And now again, she comes out in the very first game of the year, puts up a triple-double, leads the game in scoring, leads all scorers. Everybody, not one player scored more than Caitlin Clark. I say, watch out now. Watch out, because now she's comfortable. Now she has a season under her belt.
Yeah.
Look out for Caitlin Clark, everybody. I think she's going to have a monster season. And I don't know if this year, but I expect over the next couple of years, this team is going to be in the finals at WNBA, Mike.
I think so too. And they look pretty good. And, you still got to overcome New York with Stewie, and then LA. Is it LA or Vegas that has Aja Wilson? Those are going to be the two that they're going to have to overcome big time.
And the thing is, they have a really good team as well, Mike. I mean, if you look down the list of players on this Indiana Fever, it's not just Caitlin Clark.
No,
so, I mean that's a huge plus. That they have a lot going on besides her. So again, we will continue to follow Caitlin Clark, and certainly the Caitlin Clark Angel Reese rivalry as it does bud, Mike. Only in the second year that both of these young ladies are in their sophomore season in the WNBA. So I think we have a lot of hijinks and the battles and dirty looks and shoves and flops and everything else coming down the pike here, Mike, for this rivalry for sure. I continue to watch and support the WNBA. I hope that they do well, and I think it all starts with those two human beings right there.
Oh yeah, market them to the moon.
Market them to the moon, baby. See, Corey, I saw a picture, or Tortilla, I'm sorry, Tortilla. Tortilla says Kabuli said the N word on his podcast. It's live right now with Mason Rudolph interview. That's interesting, huh?
Ooh,
What's going on with that, Mike?
yeah, I don't know.
Give me some more ammunition for this for Fat Boily, you fat boily bastard. Give me some,
Kabuli.
give me some info on this. I don't know what the hell that's about.
I don't know. Let me pull.
Let me check. I'm gonna check out a couple of these next messages, Mike. You get into that. Let me know what's going on. Jen said she made Reese look childlike. She did. She did. Like I said, watch from now on. And again, don't get me wrong. Rookie of the year, she did really well last year as a rookie. But watch this woman play basketball now that she's comfortable in her skin. Wait till you see what this girl brings. I guarantee she will be doing this for a very long time, doing great things in the WNBA. And you know what? To be honest, I like both of them. I want them both to have success. So these two, it's going to be the WNBA for, as I said, this should be the Magic Johnson Bird era for the WNBA. It should be, and then the rest could be history after that if they would play this right. I just don't have much faith in the WNBA to make right decisions. I haven't seen them do it in 25 or 30 years. Finally, now you have an opportunity. You got to, because I don't think they could wait another 30 years. Like, this league will not survive.
No, they won't. No, they got to figure it out and figure it out fast.
What's going on, Mike? Fill me in.
I can't find it.
Okay. Tortilla he'll update us. I do see him updating us. Let me catch up here though. Corey Beaver says also AR doesn't understand that he can still be the best out for quarterback. His age and his last season doesn't promise starting caliber ability. He could easily be the best out by Rudolph if he doesn't show up soon. Tortilla says, and I do want to say good morning to Tortilla. Always great to see you, my friend. Welcome. Tortilla says, I saw a picture of Aaron Rodgers looking like he's talking to realtors in a driveway. You know what? I don't know these pictures. I've seen 600 pictures over the last 3 days of Aaron Rodgers in front of local hardware stores and restaurants and walking. I even seen him falling into a pothole in one picture. I can't take these Aaron Rodgers pictures no more.
I saw one with the pothole with the bus and Aaron Rodgers. So that's when you know it's the deal, when he's hanging out in the pothole with the.
This is insane. I wish these pictures would stop, but nonetheless, I did see pictures as well. I seen the one you're talking about. Who knows what's real, what isn't?
Oh, it's great. I love it.
Days of the internet, guys. Richard, what's up, my brother? Richard's good morning. Always great seeing you on this fine Monday morning. Okay, let's get back to Tortilla. What he was saying about Fat Boy. He says they were talking about Gravedigger, and his real name is Tyler, meaning. But he said Tyler.
Okay.
Wait, who are we talking about?
Okay, this is
for the
Kabuli
monster trucks.
Yeah,
is that what this is all going back to?
It's about
Gravedigger.
Or someone. They're talking about someone whose real name Menagina, and they said Tyler and it was okay.
So I assume that was from the monster trucks they had at Acrisure Stadium.
Probably,
I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, he didn't call anybody, which that's always the fine line.
Yeah.
I listen to rap music. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna say I don't sing along. So I don't know. I'm gonna have to check it out. I'm gonna have to check out the context. But we appreciate the scoop and the feedback, Tortilla. That's very cool. Interesting. Oh, very interesting. Kabuli. He always got something to say, don't he? Aaron Rodgers is not coming to Pittsburgh. I hope you're right. Richard. But again, if he does, I will be behind him because I love the Steelers. You know, What are you gonna do? I just hope it doesn't happen. What's up, Uni? Uni on the board. Welcome.
What up?
Always great to see Uni on the board. Corey Beaver said, "Fucking autocorrect." The monster truck Gravedigger. Maybe that's what you're saying. The driver's name is Meninga. Maybe that's the way I'm saying it. Man, but still, he's such a. Oh yeah, the Kool-Aid man got to say the N-word over there because apparently all of his predictions are wrong. Maybe he needs something to draw people back in, I guess, because I've given up he gave me 7 to 10 days 2 weeks ago today.
Yeah.
I'm still waiting for that to happen because he knows he has all the resources. Apparently he works with, PMS. He works here. He does that. He's got all kind of this and all kind of resources and people. So I assumed within those 7 to 10 days, since Kabuli said it,
Yeah.
it would be true, but it wasn't. Mike, here we are starting on the second week of his prediction. So maybe, just maybe, he has to say something with shock factor to get people interested in what he's saying. But I think mainly he should probably try to stay awake during interviews, and a carrot or two probably wouldn't help his ass either. But that's interesting, Tortilla. Thank you, sir. I do appreciate that feedback. That's interesting, very interesting. Corey says I give up on Apple.
The autocorrect kills me.
Autocorrect. I got you. I got you, my man.
It gets me all the time too.
Also, guys, some other things are happening. The Pittsburgh Riveters, the women's soccer team, Mike, they kicked off today, or this past weekend. I'm sorry, on Friday they kicked off, and they got a tie. Went as a draw, 0-0 with the Cleveland Force in their inaugural game. They will play Flower City. Flower City. I don't even know where Flower City is, but that's their next game. It's Saturday at 6 o'clock. Pittsburgh Riveters will be playing Flower City. Their next game, like the Pittsburgh Riverhounds, they take an L to Colorado Springs. They lose 1-0 in their matchup. The Pittsburgh Riverhounds are back in action on Wednesday, Mike, just 2 days from now for their next game of the U.S. Open, Lamar Hunt U.S. Open Cup round of 16. So the Pittsburgh Riverhounds, Mike, they will be playing Philadelphia Wednesday. So if they win, they'll advance, Mike. They'll advance to the next round. They are at the round of 16 right now. That is the Pittsburgh Riverhounds, again, overachieving in this big tournament where a couple years ago they did great. This year, Mike, they got an upset early. They play Philly, and they will move on through the round of 16 if they can beat Philadelphia. Again, that game is on Wednesday, just 2 days from now, 7:30 p.m. That's going to be very interesting to see what the guys can do down there.
I was going to say, hopefully they can pull it off because, like you said, they won it a couple of years ago. Shocked the entire North America continent that follows, the MLS. So if they pull it off again, it'll be awesome because they haven't reached that high since. They had
probably as soon as the show's over. Again, we are going to go into our interview with Speech Impediment Man shortly after we do wrap up here. So I'm going to get on and check that out. Interesting. Again, to me, as he said the N-word before, I don't recall. But now again, he's putting out a bunch of bad information. Let's make some people listen. Maybe I could be shocking. Maybe I could be that guy. The UFL Week 8, Mike. On Friday, Memphis, they beat the San Antonio Brahma. They win 24-22. Memphis improved to 2-6. The Brahma 1-7. But on Saturday, the good football team started playing. St. Louis and Birmingham. Big matchup, Mike. On Saturday, St. Louis edges them 29-28 in this showdown. That bumps St. Louis up to 6-2, drops Birmingham to 5-3. Also, a pretty good Michigan team. Michigan, they beat Houston 30-18. Michigan is now 6-2. Houston is 3-5. And finally, Mike, on Sunday, your squad played the DC Defenders. They took on the Arlington Renegades. DC wins that game 33-30. Mike, that improves the DC Defenders to 6-2 on the season, and that drops Arlington to 3-5. Week 9 coming up. They are only still, Mike, just 2 weeks away from the playoffs in the UFL. So enjoy this because when it's over, not going to be a whole lot of American football on TV for a couple months. So a couple more weeks of the UFL. They do got the playoffs, which I believe is still going to be one round, and then the championship game. So, guys, about a month left of the UFL, but it ain't going to be long. We are going to be kicking off OTAs right here for the Steelers next week. It's next week, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and then the following week there's 4 days to kick off in June. They will be OTAs, and it won't be long from then, Mike, and we'll be in summer. Once you get to summer, you just got to wait for August till those preseason games, camp in July. So it's all coming, everybody. It certainly will be here. It certainly will be here a lot faster than you think, Mike, because, again, it was just a Super Bowl. And we said, man, now we just have to get through everything. We'll be back next year. On the board, let's see. Corey Beaver says, I can't wait to see if the rumors of wide receiver trades are true or not true for us. Is there new trade rumors today? What's going on? Because I keep seeing
I didn't see any either. It's still that old Olave rumor. Okay. But I don't think that's going anywhere.
You know what? I didn't
happen at all.
I was thinking on Friday, I thought, well, maybe we might get him. But as the weekend went on, I heard nothing.
Yeah.
I started to think to myself, maybe maybe he won't be coming here, but we'll still keep our eye on Olave. Also, Jen says, "Oh my God, I was employee all-star, and my coworkers know now I'm a Steeler fan, and asked how I became a Steeler fan. The Photoshop my face with a cheese head and me with Aaron Rodgers teasing me." I like it. Jen says, even my dog with the cheese head. I'll post pictures in Discord. I can't wait to check them out, Jen. Send them over. And then Arturo, what's up, my brother? Arturo Gomez. He says, I heard you guys are trying to get a wide receiver. Olave, what's with that after trading? You know what? I think at this point, again, as I said, Arturo, last week, I was skeptical of this, just like 99% of the stuff that's coming out right now, because a lot of it's bullshit. You know what? I'm going to be honest with you. A lot of it, I don't even know where this garbage is coming from. Like, I'm seeing stories, and then I go to the source to see who it is. And it's like nobody. It's just somebody that's making stories up and putting shit on the internet. So who knows what people are hearing and knowing and believing right now. Mark Malone, what's up, brother? Always great seeing you, sir. Happy Monday. He says, Arturo, who did we trade tickets with? I think he's just saying that since we traded George Pickens.
Yeah, because that Olave one, it just came about because like reporters found out that Omar Khan called to check the availability on him, and it's what you're going to do. You're going to call around the league to find out what receivers are available or not. You're just kicking the tires.
Yeah, so, I mean, it's business.
It's a business call. Oh, is he available? Yeah, here's what we want. Or nah, he's good. It's like, all right, cool.
And then you also got to think, Mike. I mean, how many phone calls are made throughout the offseason? I mean, if we talk about every single phone call that was made in and out of the Pittsburgh headquarters, you'd probably have hundreds of possibilities. But again, this is the latest. Will he be here? I don't know. Come on. I at this point, I don't know what to think. They made a bunch of moves. We've already replaced Mike almost a half.
Yeah,
10 out of 22 of our starters from last season. So just again, I would not put that much. I would not put that much water in this. I would just kind of wait it out because, again, you're probably going to hear three more names when it's all said and done. Whether we get a lot, whether we get Aaron Rodgers, nobody knows. Nobody knows what's going on right now. Pickens correction, of course, on the Arturo's message. Also, good. Corey Beaver says, Big Deke on YouTube used to work with Arthur Moats. And he posted less than an hour ago about a live. It brought up by two reputable sources, allegedly. Mark Malone says, hell, I thought we were talking tickets to the show, like hits of LSD.
I'll take some hits.
Tortilla, Big Deke. Yeah, it is. It's going to be a long, but you know what, Arturo? I think that's ultimately what this team needs. As I was saying last week, I think they need to have it tough this year. Go in there with backup quarterbacks. Don't go in with Russell or Justin and say, hey, we got good options. Go with Mason and Will Howard. See what you're made of. See what these kids are made of. See, I mean, you're going to keep bringing Mason back. You might as well let the guy play. And again, I think for the rental that Aaron Rodgers would be for a season, whatever, it just is that beneficial to building the team back to where we want it? I don't know. I say put the guys through the ringer. Let them come out the other end and see if they're toughened up. What is this saying? Like tough times bring tough men and good times bring weak men or whatever it is. I think they need tough times. They need to go out there and just struggle this year. Yes, they've struggled the past couple years. Don't get me wrong. Don't get me wrong. But I'm talking about go out there and, don't have backup plans. Go out there and let your running backs run X amount of times. Make a decision. Say, this is how much I want running backs to run. This is what I'm going to keep my eye on the offensive line because we're hopefully going to have a quarterback of the future here pretty soon, whether, if not the guy we drafted this year, maybe somebody we draft next year. So get all those pieces in place. Put all them pieces in place. Get that defense right. I mean, we're letting up 40 points in the playoffs every year, and all we did was replace the tackle. So again, is that going to be the big difference? I don't know. Let's see what else. You guys need to have with Roseman and the Eagle. You know what? We used to. Whatever happened, it just switched powers here in Pennsylvania. They took our powers.
Right? Yeah.
They can't hit. I tell you what, every single person they drafted over the past 3 years, Mike, have been right on.
Yeah, like you go back through Howard Roseman's draft, they look like the first 4 or 5 drafts of Kevin Colbert. just hit after hit after hit after hit.
And when you're saying hit, I mean you mean
Yeah,
hit. Like, these guys,
they're hitting
like,
immediately.
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, like last year in the draft, they got the white guy. What's his name? Cooper DeJean, and they also got that other cornerback that we like. That
Quinion Mitchell.
they got both of them.
Yeah.
I thought I'd love
In
to have
first
one of
round
these
and
two
third
guys.
round, I believe. First and
I'd
third
love to
round.
have either one of these two guys.
Yeah.
They pulled both of them.
Yeah.
The year before that, they got the big guy down out of Georgia,
Jalen Carter. Yeah.
Jalen Carter. Their draft picks, their defense. No wonder they're doing what they're doing.
Yeah, they're just like, oh, who's the best player? Okay, all right, we'll take him. Who's the best player? Same position? Fuck it, we'll take him.
And I guess that's a luxury you have when you have a good team and a good thing going on, because you could then do that opposed to really focusing on what it is that you really need. Okay, we can improve at corner. We can improve here. We can improve at nose tackle. And that's what they're doing. They're grabbing really great players for areas that they can improve.
Like,
when there's teams like us that we just need things, so we have to focus
need so
on
many positions. Yeah.
Yes.
We totally have to, rebuild the D line and O line. So, that's last year we wanted to finish rebuilding the O line. So that kind of took Mitchell out in the first round. So we get, Fatanu. I think it would have been better to have Quinion Mitchell, but if Fatanu pans out, I'm not going to complain. But missing that year, it would have been nice to have Mitchell and Joey Porter Jr. But I get what they're doing. They're sticking to their plan of we want to build the trenches and then go from there. Okay, I respect that they're sticking to their plan and and going through with it. So eventually down the line, we'll have that luxury. It's just I want that luxury now. I'm not a patient fan.
I want it
but
now.
I get what they're doing. I need it now. God damn it.
Yeah, it's I mean, they're hitting on all cylinders. And as we've been saying this for a couple of years, they've been getting the draft, they've been hitting it all, and we're still just trying to get those guys that are going to get us to, to have a solid foundation. And they've had their solid foundation. Now they're on the having fun part of it. They're where the Steelers were in the first decade of the 2000s. Yep. We were there. It's just, the thing is, unfortunately, every team can't constantly be that team. We're the Patriots. Come on, for 20 years, this team was, unbeatable. This team, and not unbeatable, but just enough, of course, winning how many Super Bowls. So, the pendulum swings here in the NFL. Unfortunately, right now we're just not on the good. We're not on the good swing, Mike. We're on the bad part of the swing. But nonetheless, you got a new crop of teams. The Chiefs are the new team where, they were competitive all those years, but they haven't won anything up until 5 years ago. Detroit Lions, this team's been terrible since forever.
Yeah.
So again, apparently, unfortunately, this is where the pendulum is now. It's going to come back. We would like to come back a little faster, and we're going to do what we can to get to that point, but that's just where we are right now. When we were good in the 70s, the Eagles weren't any good. When we were winning multiple Super Bowls in the early 2000s, the Eagles wasn't winning any Super Bowls. So, again, there's 31 other teams, unfortunately, and this is just where we're at right now. We're trying to get it all back together, and you do need in this league, unfortunately for us right now, you need a franchise quarterback. We don't have that guy. We've had the luxury for 20 seasons almost, and I told everybody it's going to be life after Ben. Here we are. We're trying to pick up all the pieces, and it's not as easy as you think it is, Mike. And as I said last week, you're watching all those other teams when you do have your franchise quarterback saying, why can't they just get it together? Why is it so hard for this team to get any better? Why can't Cleveland just draft this guy and they'll be better? It's not that easy. And we're all learning that now. Again, life after Ben is teaching us some lessons.
Oh, very much teaching us lessons. And, for us older fans, we've been through this before. We know the struggle. It could be a whole hell of a lot worse. We lived through the 80s. That was some bad times. We could be the Giants right now. We could be the Lions, we could be the Bears. So it sucks for where we're at, but we're better off than a lot of other franchises.
The Giants are basically what the Florida Marlins are. They're bad. They're bad. They're bad. They're bad. They win a Super Bowl. Then they're bad. Then they're bad. And then they're bad. And then they win the Super Bowl. I don't know how the Florida Marlins do it. I don't know how the Giants do it, but they do. And that's kind of where we're at right now. And and that's the Giants, Mike, in a nutshell. So I'm glad we're not them. I'd like to win the Super Bowl every once in a while, like they do. But they're the Marlins. They're just bad all the time until they win a Super Bowl one year. Let's catch up on the board here. I believe we are right here. I believe we're right here. Howie Vision. Arturo says, I think where we stand now, Mason has more to lose and Howard has everything to gain. But he's working like this is his one and only shot. This season will be genius or disaster. No middle. That's Corey says. Arturo says, you guys should have gotten Shedeur Sanders. You need a name to get people back into the stadium. Well, the thing is, filling the stadium is not going to be hard. We're going to fill the stadium anyway you slice it, but it's just Pittsburgh. But I don't know if Shedeur was the answer, but I think DK Metcalf certainly goes a long way. Not a young guy like Shedeur, but at this point, I mean, he is a big name, and maybe if people are looking for name value or looking for something. But again, I say, Arturo, keep your eye on the 2026 draft right here in Pittsburgh. We have 12 picks right now. Like I said, if Will Howard doesn't work out or doesn't look promising, I don't think we hesitate to trade up next season and get a guy as a franchise quarterback in Pittsburgh in the draft. So just be patient. Again, this year is a test year, I think, for the Steelers. And as Corey said, I mean, what's happening now, and if it plays out that way, Mike, it could either be a stroke of genius or it could be a complete disaster. But like I said, I would like to see the team, instead of bringing Aaron Rodgers and struggle this year, maybe get a 6-win season. Don't get me wrong. I want to go all the way. I do. But being realistic, maybe get a less than stellar season for once. Get lower than a number 20 draft pick with our 500 record every year. Because you also have, again, 12 draft picks coming into Pittsburgh's draft. They're going to want to make a splash. They're not going to want to leave the draft next year in Pittsburgh and have a terrible draft. So I look for this to be big for the Steelers. Again, let's hang in there, guys. Let's see what we can do this year. And again, learn a lot, I think, about the Steelers next season. I think we're going to learn a lot. That should be the key to this season, in my opinion. Tortilla says, I don't think you understand how much Pittsburgh loves Howard. And on top of that, most people in Pittsburgh want Mason Rudolph to start. If Aaron Rodgers signs, his name is a big enough name. And I know that everyone loves Howard. Howard loves Pittsburgh a lot. Everything you're saying is true. I don't disagree. So it's going to be interesting to see how these dominoes fall, how this all falls into place. Mark Malone, we are so much better off than last year. I mean, Mark, I think we're probably better than last year. However, we don't have a quarterback in position yet. But I think we're probably better. Everybody's a year older. Everybody's the line. Guys are healthy. The other guys that played are another year experienced. You have a young running back coming out who's going to want to prove himself, obviously, in Caleb Johnson. And I just wonder about the defense. Again, we improved one player. We took Larry Ogunjobi out and we put in a Harmon. So again, if that's going to be enough to improve this team a lot, I hope you're right. But we'll have to see. Corey says to Arturo, no disrespect, my man, but if you knew anything about the Steelers, you know that we don't need help filling seats. Sanders wouldn't have helped anything. Our fans don't like that drama. I think that people people in Pittsburgh just don't like Deion Sanders. Like most people, I mean, he's a pain in the ass. That we want, again, there's a lot of people that believe that Deion Sanders has the whatever team his son plays for the coach's number. I mean, it's not out of the question that Deion Sanders takes Kevin Stefanski's job in 2 or 3 seasons. It's nobody wants Deion here. Believe me, we'll struggle the extra year, get our guy in the draft. But Shedeur Sanders, like Aaron Rodgers, most sensible Steeler fans, for the right reasons, don't want him here. Mark Malone, of the previous 4 to that, Arturo, Mason Rudolph is trash as a quarterback. His techniques are horrible. Absolutely, he's a career backup. Mike, tell us a little bit about Mason Rudolph's journey through the NFL so far.
Yeah, he's a backup quarterback. He proved it last year. But, if he can come out, rattle off some games, get some confidence, you never know. He could chug along. But I'm hoping for a Geno Smith type, career resurgence for him. But, I'm willing to take him being a bad quarterback or bad starting quarterback in the long run, but being a good backup. And, same thing with Will Howard. I'm okay with either of them coming in and playing. If they stink it up, that's even better for the team because you find out what you got. And if they come in and blow my socks off, that's even better because you find out, okay, you got 2 guys who could be potential diamonds in the rough. I'm okay with it. Just put them out there, see what happens.
I think we learned a little bit about Mason last year. Again, a different setting, Mike. I think put him in a different setting. Let us learn a little bit more about him. We've seen what we've seen. We've seen him come in. We played 3 good games. I mean, we're going to hear about those 3 good games for the rest of eternity. There's no two ways about it.
I know, because I'm clinging to those too.
I mean,
well, you can see good things from those 3 games, but you also see bad things from his handful of starts in Tennessee too.
Because at that point, Kenny had 7 wins that season, and his wins were good as well. So I just these 3 wins I keep hearing about. We might as well go on about the other quarterbacks if that's what we're going to do. However, Mitch Trubisky did not win a game in that run that year.
The funniest part.
That is the funniest part.
For a team that finds a way to win literally with any quarterback, that season we could not find a win with Mitch Trubisky.
Let's jump to Corey. Corey says Pickens, Brown, Bryant, prove that. And the list really does go on. I mean, I don't have it in front of me, but there's many of names that you could certainly add to that, Corey, but certainly in the past 10 years for the Steelers, it went more against us than for us. Tortilla says, one could argue Shador is trash too. I mean, what did he have? A 12-13 win record in Colorado? Had his number retired after 12-13. So again, is he really what he was meant to? Again, if his dad wasn't Deion Sanders, how much about Shador Sanders would we actually know? He would be just another athletic quarterback in college, in my opinion. He got the boost because of his dad. John, my friend, what's up, my brother? He says the Eagles went in GM or ranked near the top because they understood the 2025 draft or understand 2025 NFL. They won 2 rings with 2 different teams in a few years. The Steelers style is outdated and won't work anymore. I mean, that's I think that's bottom line. Steelers got to get their shit together. Arturo says, Corey, you guys don't have drama. Don't grab that nice, but grabbing those players you need. Mark Malone says he would have been a monumental bust in every other team, not seen him for the POS that he was. And that's the thing. If it wasn't all 32 teams passing on him round after round,
multiple times,
after round, I might bite into the argument a little bit more. But the fact that we're not the only team that continued to pass on him, I think that speaks volumes.
And we've seen like guys who had worse, off-field issues. Like Shador never had any off-field issues. Like we've seen, like Jalen Carter killed someone. Potheads. People abusing their girlfriends get drafted, and this guy didn't. So it's like what the hell happened there?
You just could see the potential. The potential pain in the ass that could happen with him here. And I don't think Pittsburgh wanted that. Again, we just went through a lot of drama with Antonio Brown. The guy was the best receiver in Steeler history. But
arguably
at the end of the day, it was better when he left the team.
Yeah.
Le'Veon Bell. We had a team with Le'Veon and Antonio Brown. So sometimes having the best player with the drama doesn't always work out. Let's move on. Arturo says Will Howard is good now. Do you have the quarterback coach good enough? No, we don't. That's the problem. Assistant coaches are a big problem here in Pittsburgh, and this is a problem that I really feel we need to improve. Whatever the answer is, and the thing is, I don't know because it's hard to tell what's going to be a good head coach in the NFL. But I mean, obviously, these people make a lot of money; they could figure these things out. The assistant coaches we've had for years have been sub-satisfactory, in my opinion. Arturo, I'm sorry, he goes on to say, my opinion, Aaron Rodgers retired. He's done with the league. Aaron Rodgers, I like that.
I like that one.
John, I meant the Eagles owner and GM. Yes, of course. Not sure how that ought to. No, we got you, bro. Mark Malone, it's going to be hilarious watching people waffle when we start playing. Tortilla says Howard's QB coach is John Gruden. They are guys. He does have a good rapport with John Gruden. I wasn't sure what that is, but I do know that John Gruden has nothing but good things to say about Will Howard. Mark Malone, it sounds like Rodgers is signing here pretty quick, but it wouldn't matter if he didn't. That's kind of where I think it is with Pittsburghers. I think people would rather not, but there are people that want him because, again, they want to see him sling the ball over the field, which I'm not sure that's what we're going to get at this point, but that's best case scenario, obviously. Corey says, I'm glad you said that, Mike. Geno was 20 times worse than Rudolph. Then boom, now look at him. Rudolph can easily turn it around. Whether he will or whether or not depends on how bad he wants it. You're right. Early Geno Smith was rough in the Jets and where all them stops he made.
Yeah.
Now he's a pretty damn good quarterback.
Making a very accurate quarterback too, and making a pretty penny out there in Vegas.
Let's see. John says folks can define team success how they want until I see that they are Super Bowl competitive. I don't care about the degree of how good that they are. And right now, they aren't a Super Bowl team. I mean, they're not. No two ways about it. They are not a Super Bowl team right now. That's why I say don't piss with the Aaron Rodgers. Stop pissing around. Quit pissing around. Do you want to keep kicking this can down the road for years and years? You don't want to be the Pirates. Fix it. Quit playing Russell Wilson, Aaron. Get your guy. Let's go. You got a big draft next year, 12 picks. Go get your guy. If Will Howard's not him, you got to let him play. Let's see if he's even potentially the guy. I mean, winning a national championship doesn't always translate into the NFL. Look at Tim Tebow, arguably the best college football player ever, people say. Guy couldn't throw a pass in the NFL. So I like to take a look at Will Howard, and and I think that makes the decision, as Mike said before, a lot more educated next year when the draft comes.
Because if he could come in and be like have like a Brock Purdy type year and pretty like career, maybe you roll the dice with him, and then next year, okay, we have a pretty good first round pick. We don't need a quarterback. We can go get a stud wide receiver, go get a stud corner, of a position of need, to where you can get a highly skilled athlete to add to the team, where you don't have to reach for a quarterback or hope that one of these cats pans out. You have your guy on the team. You're awesome.
All right, let me try to get through some of these messages, and I'm gonna get back to some new stuff here. He just sucks, man. Anyone that's ever played a down of football can see it. That's Mark Malone. He says just like they could see Show was a second rounder. John follows that up. The Steelers have a 2.4% chance to win a Super Bowl. I wouldn't even think it's that high. I mean, I seen the same thing that you've seen. Rodgers won't move that needle much. Corey says, John, yes, you remind us daily. We get it. So you're saying there's a chance?
Telling me there's a chance?
Tortilla says I have a 2.4 chance with women. Doesn't mean I get. That's true, right? I'm right there with you. Again, like the Steelers, I might be even lower than that. But
you miss 100% of the shots you don't take.
That's right.
Michael Scott, Wayne Gretzky.
John says CB and fans have delusional hope daily as well. Tortilla, dude, stop. Emma from Corey. And then Corey goes on to say, John, this is the time of year to be delusional. We have all year to be disappointed. Going to get some stuff here, fellas, gals, everybody aboard. The Pittsburgh Steelers are 29th in touchdowns since 2019. The last 5 years, there's only 3 teams that scored less touchdowns than the Pittsburgh Steelers. So again,
and we've made the playoffs twice. How?
Made the playoffs, got eliminated. I mean, we got destroyed. I mean, we got destroyed to be there. But guys, 29th out of 32 teams. This is a bit of a problem. If you want to become that team, you want that percentage to go up that John's talking about. You want to be the team that's considered to be competitive, a team that is considered to be a Super Bowl caliber team. That has to change. You can't be the 29th in scoring touchdowns in the NFL. I mean, come on. 29th? This is through a couple different coordinators. This is through various quarterbacks, new players coming in, linemen coming in, going, receivers coming, going. We managed to be 29 out of 32, guys. Also, I want to go back to something here that a quote, Kaboli says, it's just a matter of when. He's very confident, Mike, that Aaron Rodgers will be
it went from 7 to 10 days to
7 to 10 days, guys. I'm going to say it right here. I'm the guy. Listen, because if it happens in 7 to 10 days, everybody's going to turn to me, Kaboli, and say, oh, you know everything. I'm going to turn to you and look at your wisdom for answers. Now it's just a matter of time of when. But still, he's confident. So
hey, it's just a matter of
he's
time
making it so he can't be wrong, and that's what pisses me off about Pittsburgh. That's what pisses me off about these guys up here.
Hey, man, it's just a matter of time. It's just a matter of when Sydney Sweeney and I start dating. It's just a matter of when.
That's right. What else? The first 4 players, Mike. Again, the Pittsburgh celebrity softball game coming up in mid-July.
Yeah, our favorite game of the year.
Mike, the first 4 players of team defense were chosen. Of course, this game is played down at Washington Wild Things Stadium in Washington, Pennsylvania, south of Pittsburgh. Guys, the first 4 players from the defensive team defense was named Mike Cam Hayward, Highsmith, Richard Sherman. Sherman will be there this year.
Oh, cool.
And Chris Kirkpatrick. I think he was the guy from one of them boy bands. But he
Backstreet Boys or NSYNC, one of those.
Yeah, Chris Kirkpatrick could get your ass kicked worse than them Little Limp Bizkit bastards. Remember that was an Eminem line?
Yeah.
Well, apparently Chris Kirkpatrick is up from near Clarion originally. That's
no
where he's from. I didn't notice. I looked into it. But Chris Kirkpatrick, Richard Sherman, Highsmith, and Cam Hayward are the first players named for the team defense, Mike, for the Pittsburgh celebrity softball game that takes place in July down at Washington Wild Things Ballpark, Mike. So there you go. You got Chris Kirkpatrick. You got a lot of things going for you.
That's some start, forget, Cam, forget, Super Bowl winner, Sherm. I'm there for Kirkpatrick.
And I would have never even known the guy's name if he wasn't in an Eminem lyric. I'm going to be honest with you.
Me either.
If you would have said, listen, hey, Chris Kirkpatrick from the boy band, this guy, I would have never known. You could have said it to use blue in the face and described it, but because he was sung about in the Eminem song,
it's the only reason I know him. Yeah.
It's the only reason I know him. Absolutely. Yeah. Let's see what else we got here. Also, so going, just about this, Aaron, I'm going to wrap up Aaron Rodgers, but Mike, his biographer, I guess he's writing a book now. And come on, this guy's let him go. Let him go. Tell him no. Shoot his ego down. Screw him. Let him go off into retirement and write books and whatever the hell he does. I don't even know, guys, but his Mike, apparently his biographer / Arthur thinks that he'll be joining the Steelers soon.
I heard it from his biographer and I heard it from his realtor.
You don't see that this is going to be an insane
I love it.
circus? People don't see that this is going to be an absolute circus? Might take a couple of messages. I'm going to try to. I got to pull something up real quick here.
All right. Where did we leave off?
Let's leave off. We left off right. Right here. Go to 12/12/57. John, this is the time of year to be delusional.
Oh yeah, I already lost that one. 12/12/57. Time to be delusional. All right. Here we go. Oh yeah. Okay, we're gonna go with. Let's see. Yeah. Stevie, your choice. I don't live in Fantasyland. I live in Fantasyland. It's right next to Candyland. Mark Maloney, you damn sure won't be this year again. Yeah, we ain't making the playoffs this year. Oh. Let's see. Making the playoffs isn't a big deal. 40% of teams make it now with the 7th round. Yeah, and they're talking about reseeding the playoffs now too.
I hate that. I don't like it at all. I like the way that it was, because if you were 14 and you have to go in as a 7 seed because you didn't win the division, that's the way the cookie crumbles.
Yeah, that's what the shit happens.
It's a very low percentage situation that rarely happens. When it happens,
it's some years you're the ant, some years you're the boot. You just got to take your lickings. Don't listen to that mouth breathing lard ass. Hopefully that was about Kaboli and not me.
I think he was talking to me, Mike, actually, and about you.
I was like, I don't listen to me either half the time. Got to be careful quoting Kaboli. Yeah, you do. Oh, Beavers and Corey going at it.
All right. Let them do their thing. Let them do
their thing over there. That's why I love our board, man.
Mike, this is where I was looking for. Breaking last week, if everybody knows that Antonio Brown was in a situation. So I'm going to give you what happened, then I'm going to give you his response. Antonio Brown, of course, Mike, we brought him up briefly just a moment ago. Former All-Pro wide receiver Antonio Brown was arrested at Aiden Ross's boxing event in Florida after pulling out a firearm and firing shots while fighting off people who were trying to steal his chain. Antonio Brown was reportedly attacked by multiple men and fired shots in the air to scare them away during the robbery. Police detained Antonio Brown, released him a little while later. Brown appeared on Ross' stream after his release and says, "I got CTE. I blacked out. I didn't know what happened." So that was the original scoop that came out last week that we did talk about briefly, Mike. But this is his response. It came out over the weekend. Antonio Brown says, regarding the boxing event that happened last night, I was jumped by multiple individuals who tried to steal my jewelry and cause physical harm to me. Contrary to the some videos circulating, police temporarily detained me until they received my side of the story, and then I was released. I went home that night and was not arrested. Antonio Brown. So, if any speculation, anybody was wondering what went on with AB at the end of last week, that was it. As of right now, I mean, that's his side of the story, of course, but he did get into a scuffle. Somebody tried to steal his jewelry at the boxing match. He did pull out his gun. A bunch of people pulled out guns. Everything went down, and he, as of right now, is the victim. So let's hope that things go okay for Antonio. It just seems to be one big cyclone of disaster for him, like over and over and over.
Yeah.
Maybe he just needs to get a house out in Montana, go just get away from everybody for a while, because it seems like anytime the guy leaves the house, it's like big news stories happen.
It's always something with him.
Let's see where we at here, Mike. Where'd you leave off at? Got to be careful quoting Kaboli.
Yeah.
Okay. Corey above that says, John, you must be fun at parties then. And my wife calls me pessimistic. Other than our quarterback room, we look promising. The quarterback room is where we have hope. We know the reality any given Sunday. John replies by saying, there's a better chance that Rodgers will cause more drama and hurt them and hurt the team than there is that he could come in and help and win a trophy. So why do fans want him? For the craziness? Corey follows it up by saying, oh, no, I don't want him here either, because I know he doesn't move the needle. John says, I agree with Ryan. The Steelers they've had enough drama. They drop other nut jobs just to add another one. Makes no sense. That's kind of where I'm at.
You always got to have at least one nut job.
Yeah, but you can't. I mean, we don't want to stockpile.
We got to find one. We got to find a nut job on the roster. I think Jack Sawyer can be the nut job, but a positive nut job, because he looks like he's going to be a nut out on the field.
I can't wait.
Can we have the nut jobs be like that?
Mark Malone says, I don't see Rodgers causing any drama. It's just a bunch of homos with estrogen levels rivaling that of pregnant women getting bent out of shape by the media. Mouth breather.
I have a feeling like that right there. Like, you put my picture next to it in central casting, we're like, that's our guy.
What
that guy out of shape? He can be what Mark Malone just put in there.
Yeah, I mean, that is you to a T. He then goes on to call a mouth breather. John says, CB, I give only my opinion and frankly don't care if you agree with it. Tortilla says 8:15 on the latest Kabuli Mac pod.
Oh, when he drops the
okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Thank you, brother. Appreciate you. Mark Malone, and we were making the playoffs. Dill holes. All right. I hope you're right. I hope you're right. Believe me. Just watch that real quick. You'll see what I definitely will. Definitely will. Mark Maloney's that's Mike. Corey says, John, that's fine with me. That's why we all have our own opinions. I can respect it without agreeing, which I do respect. We all want the same thing for our team. Absolutely. The thing is, I mean, if we were all sitting around with the same idea and it was right, we would know how to fix this and things would be fixed. There's just everybody's throwing, they're throwing opinions. We all know football, obviously. We all watch this team for a long time. We want the best for them. And we just, some of us may know the answers, but some of us may not. And we're just kind of throwing out there what we can. We want this team to get better. Everybody wants to be waving our towels and winning a lot of games and having a chance at the Super Bowl. And I think we could all agree that we want that, guys, together. Just how we're going to get there, we don't know. What else, Mike? Yeah. I thought I had something else here. AB. Yeah, that was where I was going with that. My couple things about the NFL, the tush push along with the playoff format. That's going to be voted on at the owners meeting this week. So the tush push, which again, I have no problem with the tush push. Just stop it.
Stop it, or call it when it is, when they're lined up in an illegal formation, which happens just about every single time.
Right.
Call it when it happens, and when they line up correctly, let it go. And the thing I hate is, like, defensive players really aren't allowed to, or is the defense allowed to push players? Because I know the offense sure as hell can, and if the defense, it doesn't look like no one tries to push back. So
Yeah.
I don't know if they're allowed to change the rules to where it gives both
Fix it
teams.
if it's right.
Yeah, make it fair for the defense. Give them a fighting chance.
And
I do
finally,
like the dude, the Commanders. He kept jumping over the top.
yeah,
Frankie Lovey.
he did it like
whatever his
9
name is.
times.
Oh, it was great. I loved it.
A couple more things here, Mike, before we do move on. These are the 10 best paid quarterbacks in the NFL. Dak Prescott making roughly $60 million. Allen, Burrow, Love, Lawrence all making roughly $55 million. Million. Tua making $53.1 million. Purdy, big raise over the weekend. We'll get them in a second. Goff, 53. Herbert, 52.5. And Lamar Jackson, 52 million touchdowns or $1 million, Mike. Yeah. Zero Super Bowl winners amongst the 10 highest paid quarterbacks in the NFL. So
dude, that Mahomes deal looks better every fucking year. Because I remember when he signed that, people were like, oh my God, they're paying him that much for that long. That's going to cripple that franchise. And he's won, 2 more Super Bowls.
He's the only franchise that is not crippled right now. So
yeah.
Do what you want with that. The top 10 highest paid quarterbacks, Mike, have zero, a net of sum of 0 Super Bowl wins.
Yeah. That's nuts. That's nuts. And what, Burrow was the only one on that list to make a Super Bowl? I think.
I don't know. Purdy was there.
Oh yeah, Purdy. So Purdy and Burrow, the only two to ever make it to a Super Bowl. Yeah.
Purdy, Mike, he did sign a 5-year, $265 million contract, including $181 million in total guarantees. I sure hope that he lives up to the the hype and
the pressure's on now.
The pressure's on. Mike, and these talking about quarterbacks, that was your top 10 highest paid. Mike, these are your best quarterbacks in prime time since 2020, regular season, minimum 5 games. Are you ready? Number 10, with a 62% winning percentage in primetime games, going 8-5, Kirk Cousins. Number 9, rounding off the number 9 spot, Mike, with a 63% primetime rate, winning percentage rate, 12-7, Aaron Rodgers, Mike. Aaron Rodgers, number 9. Ryan Tannehill next on the list with 71%, being 5-2. 5-2.
Wow.
Dak Prescott, number 6, 13-5. Mike, he is 72% on primetime games. Josh Allen with a 16-6 record, 73% on primetime games. Now the top half of the list, Lamar Jackson, 16-5, 76% winning percentage in primetime games. Carson Wentz, who has an 8-2 record in primetime games since in the last 5 years, since 2020. Carson Wentz, 80% of those games he won.
Yeah, damn, I'm surprised he's up on that list.
Patrick Mahomes, number 3, with an 80% winning percentage, Mike, on primetime games. He is, of course, 20-5.
It's not a surprise.
Number 2, Jared Goff, 83%. 83% winning rate in primetime games since 2020, 15-3. Jared Goff. Mike, and number 1 overall with an 86% winning rate in primetime games with a 6-1 record, of course, is nobody other than, you guessed it, that's right, everybody, Kenny Pickett. Kenny Pickett has the best winning percentage.
I just had a feeling it was going that route.
Amongst any quarterback in the NFL in primetime games over the past 5 seasons.
That's wild.
Do what you want. The guy found ways to win. Am I saying he's a great quarterback? No, but you put that guy in the fourth quarter, there's always a chance. I felt when he was here, but the first 3 quarters always
the first 3 quarters were
they put us in such a bad shape.
Yeah,
so we either had to come back and win, or we had to try to come back. But he did well. I got to be honest with you.
He would lull the defenses into a false sense of security.
Right. Like, oh, this guy stinks.
Like this guy sucks. Like, oh, there's his one good pass of the game, and it's a touchdown.
It's true. All right, let's see where we're at. All right, I'm gonna go right here. Mark Malone says he can't close his mouth at 2 dumb answers. I've never seen anything like it. Who are we talking about?
Kabuli.
Oh, Kabuli. I know. With all the eating he does, how his mouth is never closed, I'll never know.
Right?
John says making the playoffs and getting ass slapped in the first round doesn't mean much. I agree. You lose in the playoffs, that means nothing. You're as good as everybody else that didn't win the Super Bowl. You played another game, but you got beat. Corey says, John, the only thing that I like about making the playoffs, even when we get our asses kicked, is that we usually keep a rival out so we can guarantee at least one of those wouldn't win it or go all the way that year. Mark Malone, we're going to do the anal reamings this year. Mark Malone says that to John.
Hell yeah. He's smacking them asses.
John says, I will be the first to admit I was wrong. Time will tell. Corey says, or Tortilla, I'm sorry, says 52 million touchdowns.
Yeah, I caught that too.
Did you when I was given the
I was ready to pounce. And
who was it? I want that guy. Whoever had 52 million touchdowns. That's who I want.
Lamar, I think you said.
All right, I'll take him. Tortilla, let's see. Okay, Mark Malone, guys. I have not been high on our offense for the past 5 off seasons. This year I've seen an offense. That's what we had in Todd Haley. Again, guys, 29 overall over the past 5 years in touchdowns scored. So again, did we make enough? Some people on the board are saying that you feel that we have a chance now. We're a better team. We could be a competitor for the Super Bowl. Remember the last playoff game we played in? The last 8 of them, we gave up 40 points.
Yeah.
All we did was replace the tackle. And again, we're the 29th best scoring team in the NFL. I don't know if that's going to translate over to a good season, but again, things we gotta. The draft's big next year, Mike. The draft in Pittsburgh is huge next year.
Huge.
Go through a rough year. Get tougher together as a group of guys, like the Army. You throw them into a foxhole for 6 weeks in boot camp. Guess what? Them guys come out ready to die for each other and fight for each other, and they know every move that everybody in their platoon is going to make. Give them a tough year. Let them. Tortilla says it's okay. Mark Aaron will be high on offense. Be high on offense.
Oh yeah, he's gonna be high.
Mark Malone for sure he will. Mark Malone also goes on to say, in the meantime, I'll get high enough for both he and I like this. And then
That's
Corey
what I like
says,
to hear.
going to be throwing touchdowns to operations of Donald Driver. So very interesting.
He's gonna channel that year where he had 3 Hail Marys and back games to win. That's the Aaron Rodgers I want. I want him high out of
I want a guy that just throws up that lucky pass like Russell Wilson.
Hell yeah, baby.
That went so well.
It worked for like 2 weeks.
Yeah, it worked great. Let's take a look. See here, Mike. We're going to move on because of time, because we do have the special speech impediment man interview coming up as soon as as soon as we're done with this part of the show. Mike, I do want to get to the Pirates. I'm not gonna put my. I really should put my bag on. I really should put the bag on my head.
Yeah, after last night's performance.
But I'm gonna hold it off today.
All right.
Pirates get swept again. Like they've been swept they've been swept more than anybody else in the league.
Yeah.
They've yet to score over 4 runs since the last week when Mike said it was 17 games, which was a record that dated back to the early 1900s. They still haven't scored over 4 runs. So they're roughly at about 22 games, give or take. I don't know exactly where.
Yeah.
Mike, the bullpen blows the game on Friday night. The Pirates lose 8-4. Bullpen blows another one. The Pirates lose 5-2 on Saturday. And then yesterday you get Paul Skeens on the hill in a game that you wish you could get. You hope that you could get a little bit of help, Mike.
Mm-hmm.
And he goes the distance. He goes 8 innings, complete game. Gives up 3 hits, 1 earned run, 1 walk, strikes out 9. The team can do nothing, Mike. They lose 1-0. He goes complete game, strikes out 9, lets out 1 run. The team gets 0. They lose 1-0 and another shutout, which I think they lead the league in. Spencer Horowitz, the big addition to the team. They went out in the offseason, got Spencer Horowitz to improve the team. He finally makes his first appearance yesterday in the game. He does get a hit, Mike, but it doesn't make any difference. The Pirates fall to 15-32. Only 2 teams worse than them, and one of them is catching up. I think the White Sox are only about a game behind us, but the Rockies still a handful back. But the Pirates will be back in action today, Mike. They start a new series as the Reds come to town. It's the beginning of a 7-game homestand. They got the Reds for 3, and then Milwaukee comes to town at the end of the week. The probables for tonight will be Mitch Keller coming in with an insane, I don't even believe this, a 1-5 record a 4.15 and 43 strikeouts on the season, Mike. And apparently there's rumor that the Baltimore Orioles are interested in Mitch Keller. So we're going to watch this play out. How much does this Pirate team want to win? We're going to find out, because if they start shipping out stars again, then it's just another day in the Pirates' paradise, guys. The Pirates again, they'll be facing Nick Lodolo. He comes in with a 3-4 record, 3.42 ERA, and 42 strikeouts on the season. Mike, and finally, the big news, I guess, at the end of the week, it was right after we went off the show on Friday. The Pirates hire former manager Gene Lamont.
Oh, that's a needle mover.
As a advisor to the manager. So basically, not a guy to come in to be the manager.
No.
Just a guy to come in and advise the manager.
Yeah, because he was such a successful big league manager here in Pittsburgh.
Listen, in '97 when they finished with 3 games under and they almost made the playoffs because the division was so bad. That was the best season he had. And then I would rather have, Mike, if you want to get the rally the troops here in Pittsburgh, you got to bring back Lloyd McClendon.
Yep.
I want the guy that goes out and takes the base and walks off the field. I mean, come on. If anything is going to drive a team, it might be something like this. Mike, Lloyd McClendon is not here, though, but they did bring back Gene Lamont, who was an assistant under Jim Leland, who got the job after Leland left, and now he's back. He's back to advise.
The manager. Hey, that's pretty bad when you have to hire an assistant manager to manage your manager. Stupid.
This be what the Pirate is. The Pirates is, guys. Mike, what we're going to do, we're going to start wrapping things up because we are going to get to the interview with speech impediment man. He comes on to talk about the Minnesota Vikings. Again, speech impediment man from the Howard Stern Show, one of the Whack Packers. He's going to be on with us in just a moment. We're going to be talking about his team, the Vikings, and all kind of stuff, because we do have the big Minnesota Viking Pittsburgh Steelers game in Ireland this year in week 4. We will talk about that and a lot more. So stick around, guys. We do have that interview coming up right after this. Mike, why don't you go ahead and tell everybody about the website? And this is what, Mike, can you tell everybody about the website?
Oh, sorry, my headphone unplugged. I thought that's what you said. I just want to make sure. Yes, the2dumbyinters.com. You know what's over there. We got the merch store with Ryan's t-shirt that says, listen. The catchphrase that's sweeping the nation. We got all of our social media links over there. And, we got the blog. Getting some more dumb thoughts up there this week from me. So check it out at the2dumbyinters.com.
Let me catch John's message real quick here before we do go on to the trivia. John says, Haley's scheme and Smith's aren't the same. Haley was an alpha and pushed back on Tomlin and did his own thing. One reason he is gone. Smith is better yes man, fit for Tomlin. Very good possibility as well. Great comment, John. Mike, the question of the day. I'm sorry. Here we go. This is going to be a Pittsburgh Pirates question, just because they pissed me off so bad, get swept again, and they're on a pace for a record bad season. Mike, question of the day: what is the highest amount of losses that a Pittsburgh Pirate team has ever endured during a season? They had that. They were really fond of that 62-100.
Yeah,
but Mike, this question goes all the way back in the day. What is the highest amount of losses the Pittsburgh Pirates managed to ever have in a season? Take a minute to think that over. We're live 5 days a week right here, Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. to 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, right here on YouTube. All right, so the question of the day, Mike, I want to know what's the most amount of losses the Pirates ever had in a single season? You think it's got to be more than 100, because we again the famous 62-100 is a favorite for the Pirates. What is the most losses this team ever endured in a season? Again, this team goes way back, so
I'm gonna say 110.
110. Is this your final answer?
Final answer, baby.
Not a bad guess. Mike is saying the most they ever lost in a season was 110 games. The Pirates, guys. Question of the day: the Pittsburgh Pirates, what is the most losses they ever endured during a single season in their history? Mike says 110. He's locked in. The answer, guys, I think just another second in case anybody wants to throw a guess up on the board. Mike says 10. The Pittsburgh Pirates, the most losses they've ever had, actually came in the 1800s, 1890, when they went 23-113.
Oh, damn.
Really close, Mike.
Wow.
Really
Wow.
close with your 113 or with your 110. 113. I mean,
I thought 110 was a bit high. Jesus.
yeah. So there you have it, everybody. 113 losses. That happened back in 1890. So it's been some time. For some reason, that team was worse than this team. But in the middle, they had great baseball. I promise you. Somewhere in the middle of those
Somewhere.
two, this and then, guys, they had a lot of really great baseball. Mike, 113 losses in a season. There you go.
That's nuts.
A couple things before we do wrap it up and send it over to the interview, guys. Human remains found near Taylor Swift's mansion in Rhode Island, Mike. Human remains found near Taylor Swift's mansion in Rhode Island.
The Chiefs are going to win the Super Bowl. The sacrifice has been.
That's what I'm saying. I think they're sacrificing shit. I don't trust them. I don't trust them. I don't trust them. I don't trust Taylor. I don't trust Travis. None of them. I think they're sacrificing people.
They're sacrificing. Hey, man, anything to win a Super Bowl, I'm okay with it, man. We need to start,
how a team,
people in Pittsburgh. We got to do it.
Mike, how a team doesn't score over 29 points all season?
Well, it's because we're not sacrificing enough.
Exactly. People. We have to start sacrificing virgins around here. You guys, did you read your Illuminati? Did you read your Illuminati manual yet, Mike? All right. Just as I thought. Let's see. Brooklyn Bridge struck by a Mexican ship in training, preparing for a upcoming event for Memorial Day. Mike, what is up? And did this just happen out in Maryland last year or the year before?
Yeah.
The people running into bridges. Can't you see that your shit does not fit under a bridge?
No,
shouldn't you know this?
No, what it was, like the tugboat that was tugging it broke loose and they couldn't stop it in time.
What happened in Baltimore? I mean, but this keeps happening. The plane crashes and the boats running into shit.
It's wild.
And finally,
that's why I don't leave the house.
Exactly. And finally, Mike, experts say sleeping to a show, music, or a podcast can aid your sleep. Everybody, we are not only extremely handsome and funny, but we are very healthy for you as well. Apparently,
yes.
If you listen to us as you fall asleep or while you're sleeping, apparently we could aid your sleep. I hope it's we don't put you to sleep. I hope that it's we aid once you're asleep. But Mike,
when other people are on the show co-hosting with us, they put you to sleep.
Derby?
Yeah, I don't want to name names.
So there you go, guys. We are healthy. We're good for your health. And finally, Mike, my one last question. Of course, we're working on a few things for the summer. We do have a lot of big things coming up. One of the things that I did kind of ponder across, when you remember it used to be very popular, the midget tossing.
Yes.
What do you think about reverse midget tossing, where the midgets actually toss the regular people?
They can, if they can pick me up and toss me, I'm all for it.
See, that's what I'm saying. How many midgets?
I want to see that. How many little people, midgets, dwarfs, whatever they want to call themselves, how many of them will it take to throw big sexy? Let's find out for science.
Maybe Russell Wilson and one other midget. I don't know, but
him and Bryce Young.
But this is a funny concept. Murray. Just a funny concept. You know what I mean? Midgets throwing you.
Yeah, I like it. I'm down. Sign me up. Midgets throwing fat guys.
Mike, anything else for you before we do spend the
no. Other than that, you can tell I really want to get thrown around by a bunch of midgets.
And I would love to see it. Jen on the board. Fun. Jen says crazy that there were guys standing on that sill when it crashed. Was. I mean, geez, what the hell are we? I do want to say thank you before we do switch it over to the interview. I do want to say thank you everybody for coming along and hanging out today, and we appreciate each and every one of you. As always, we wouldn't do this without you. I want to say thank you to everybody on the board. You guys always keep things interesting here on the show. Everybody at home, everybody on the board, everybody, maybe in school, at work, jogging, at the gym, wherever you may be. We thank you so much for attending and listening. As I said, guys, we are going to send this over. We do have the speech impediment man interview. That's going to be right up as we end off this segment. It's going to go right into that. So stick around. I'm going to be talking to speech about the Minnesota Vikings, about the Vikings and Steelers big game at Croke Park in Ireland coming up later this year, week 4 of the NFL season, as a matter of fact, and a bunch of other things. We'll find out who Speech Impediment Man's favorite whack packer is and favorite person on the Howard Stern Show. A lot of cool things in that interview coming up right after this. Mike, before we send it over, speak now or forever hold your peace, man. What do you got? Anything?
Thank you, everyone, for tuning in. Love it, man. Love doing this. You guys are the best.
Absolutely. We'll be back at it tomorrow at our regular time. Join us right here as we'll be keeping up on the again, the Pirates. They do start that series with the Reds tonight. Mike, the Pittsburgh Passion will be back at it at the end of this week. They had the week off. The Riverhounds, the big tournament game coming up on Wednesday, and all the stuff from the Pittsburgh Steelers that we could scrape from anywhere we could find it, guys. We'll be bringing in and putting it all together for you tomorrow at our regular times. We hope to join you. We hope you join us then. But in the meantime, enjoy the interview. Speech Impediment Man, a lot of fun. From, again, the Howard Stern Show. He is a whack packer. He's been on the show for 30 years. Mike, 30 years ago, he made his debut on the Stern Show.
It's a long time.
So I hope you enjoy, everybody. For myself, for Mike in the Steelers Central Mobile Studio, 2 Dumb Yinzers, enjoy the Speech Impediment Man interview, and we'll see everybody back tomorrow at our regular time. Have a great day. Bye-bye. And welcome back. We're back with a very, very special guest. This is a guest of that I personally have been a fan of for many, many years. He's been a whack packer for the Howard Stern Show. He's a very lovable whack packer. But, you know, the only thing that I find wrong with this guy is he's a Minnesota Viking fan. But I'm not going to hold that against him today. We're gonna have a great conversation about the Vikings, the Steelers, the game in Ireland. All this fun stuff here. Stick around. We do have Speech Impediment Man. Speech Impediment, welcome to the 2 Dumb Yinzers, my friend. Nice to see you.
How you doing, Ryan? Thanks for having me on the show. You know what? I could easily turn this thing around. The only problem I got with you is you're a Steeler fan.
And you know what? That's not a bad problem because that's my only problem with you. And you know what? We're going to get along fine. Speech, I was excited. I've been wanting to have you on for some time now, but I thought, you know what better opportunity than right now after the schedule's been made, the Steelers, the Vikings, in Ireland, first game ever at Croke Park. I mean, this is a big deal for both these games, of course. Minnesota then goes back the following week and then plays in London. So, I mean, they have a rocky path. But, Speech, let me start with you on this. The Vikings went 14-3 last year. This team, along side by side with Detroit, really dominated that NFC North division. The Packers looked okay. The Bears, I mean, they're working their way up. Speech, how do you feel about this Minnesota Vikings team? Before we do get into that trip to Ireland, how do you feel about that Minnesota Viking team coming off the 14-3, the one and done in the playoffs, where I expected them to do a little bit more in the playoffs? How are you thinking about this team? How did they rebound, Speech, from the season they had last year? Because that was a pretty damn good season.
Well, I feel pretty good. I mean, our big problem was our offensive line, and we have a whole new line. We went out free agent. I mean, I love our GM. This is what we need. He went out and got it. We got the center and the guard from the coach. We got a tackle from Ohio State. I mean, he didn't give up a sack last year. We got O'Neal coming back. He's an all-pro. We got Chris Darlson. He's a good tackle. We got another guard from the Niners. I mean, we have a new offensive line. We got the running back from the Niners, Mason, which will be good because, I mean, 3rd and 2, 3rd and 1, we give it to him. He's a good north and south runner. I mean, we used to rely on speed back when we had Dalvin Cook. If it was like 3rd and 1, 3rd and 2, we would pitch it to Dalvin and he'd just outrun everyone to the
Yeah.
sideline, but Aaron Jones is not that type of runner anymore. I mean, Aaron is a good receiving back out of the backfield, but I mean, we need like a Dalvin Cook or a Mason on that 3rd and 1, 3rd and 2. We could pick it up and keep the chains going. Um, And our receivers, I mean, we still got JJ, Addison. I'm looking for a big year out of Naylor. He's coming on. He's from Michigan State. We got Hawkinson at tight end. He looks good. Um, Quarterback, I mean,
That was going to be my next
Jay,
question. Let me jump in just one real quick second on this, because going from Sam Darnold, now before he went to Minnesota, he never really had that success. So for one, that was kind of a surprise to me when they sent him to Seattle, when when he went off to Seattle, because he came through and he had amazing success. I mean, a 14-3 record on the season for Minnesota. That's fantastic. So is that going to be a setback for you guys, do you think, Speech? Not having the quarterback that was able to do that, and to bring the rookie in who is very, minimal amount of experience in the NFL. He dealt with the injury last year, of course, missed his rookie season. I'm talking about J.J. McCarthy. Is he going to be able to step in? Of course, he has the weapons, as you mentioned, with, the receivers, Addison, so forth. Is J.J. going to be able to make a seamless transition and keep this Minnesota team like it was last year?
yeah, I think JJ's going to be able to step in. I mean, basically, I mean, to tell you the truth, I believe this is the NFL. A quarterback should be your last piece. I mean,
I agree.
you build a good offensive lineman, you have okay receivers, you give any quarterback time, he should be able to get to these guys. Now, JJ is a proven winner. He's won the national championship in Michigan. He's basically won at every level he's been at. I think last year he had time to watch under Sam Darnold, which was a good thing.
Yeah.
Kevin O'Connell, he played quarterback at San Diego State. He was drafted by the Patriots. I mean, he
Okay.
watched Tom Brady. So, I mean, I think Kevin O'Connell has a lot of knowledge there. I was kind of hoping we could do something with Daniel Jones. That's kind of why I think Daniel picked Minnesota. He was
Yeah.
hoping he would have a chance, but he kind of saw the writing on the wall that they were going to turn it over to JJ this year. Now, Sam Darnold, he went to Seattle. Pete Carroll, I mean, he kind of runs a good system. He did wonders with his quarterbacks at SC when he was there.
Absolutely.
And they just signed Cooper Cup. That's going to do nothing but help Sam.
Now, that's another thing I was going to say, Speech, is this NFC, in my opinion, it's wide open because, of course, you have Detroit, but they're a team that's come out of a 100-year downfall with this team. So, I mean, they're coming around. Yes, they're good, but I'm not sold on them yet. They don't have the experience of winning. And then the other teams in the NFC, as I said, I think Philadelphia really shows that they are the top team. I don't think there's any question.
Right.
I think Minnesota could certainly slide into one of those top spots in the NFC for quite some time, because it is open for the taking now. All you just got to do is just figure out how to beat this Philadelphia team, and I think Minnesota could be right up there in the NFC, just as good as anybody else.
Right. I mean, I think, I mean, Detroit, they got an uphill battle. I mean, they were always kind of a defensive team, and their defensive coach left. and he's the head coach in Chicago,
Yeah.
which I mean, I can see why he went there because, I mean, he kind of wanted to stay in the division. He knows everyone. I mean, Detroit, I don't know. It's going to be a challenge. Who's going to fill that role of defensive coordinator
Yeah.
and stuff? Now, Minnesota, I mean, last year, Sam just kind of reverted to Sam of old the last two games. And Detroit, actually, if you see that game, watch that game, they had a great defense. They put the
Yes.
pressure on Sam, and Sam has happy feet. And like I say, I mean, we upgraded our offensive line. I'm looking for the JJ to JJ combination this year.
Hell yeah. Now, was that a concern as the season ended? Sooner the Gins guys would have liked it last year. No two ways about it. I think that this team had potential to continue in the playoffs. As a matter of fact, that was my pick in the playoffs from the NFC side of the bracket. Now, do you feel that, those improvements on the offensive line is, that could be the difference to kind of get them over that hump in a sense? Because again, 14-3 is an amazing season. You get to the playoffs, and when that game's over and you lose that game in the playoffs, you say to yourself, man, if we fix this problem, that's going to be what it's going to take to get over that hump and continue to move forward in the playoffs. Is the offensive line that position for you?
Well, yeah, I think that it's getting by time. I mean, we have so many weapons. I mean, JJ's gonna have his choice. I mean, if JJ's not open, he goes to Addison. If Addison ain't open, goes to Hawkins. Hawkins ain't open, he dumps it off to Aaron Jones. I mean, I just see a lot of positives where, though, I mean, I've noticed it. Last year, I mean, Sam would lock on a receiver, and
Yeah.
that was it.
Yeah, and you know what? Defensive secondaries love that. They just love that. They can anticipate. They can watch the eyes and then
Well,
jump.
true. Yeah, true.
Now, let me ask you this. Well, of course, the Aaron Rodgers saga, speaking of quarterbacks, has been going on in Pittsburgh for quite some time. But, within the past 2 months or so, Minnesota's also been a name that was, a landing place possibility for Aaron Rodgers. A lot of speculation, a lot of rumors going around as between, the Steelers, the Vikings, and maybe somebody else. Now, with the position that you guys are in, sending Sam Darnold down the road and having your rookie of last season step up, would it have been more beneficial? Do you as a Viking fan feel that it would have been more beneficial to have Aaron come in and maybe play in front of JJ? Or do you think this is JJ's time? He sat a season. Let's get him in there and let's see what he can do. Or would you prefer the Aaron Rodgers experience to having JJ start this season and pretty much taking the team under his wing?
Well, to tell you the truth, I mean, anytime you could get a young quarterback to sit behind a Hall of Famer
Yeah.
and watch, I mean, that's nothing but a positive.
Right.
And it seemed JJ was in on it. Now the decision, I mean, our GM, he was in on it, but the decision was up to Kevin, and Kevin has a good relationship with Aaron, but at the end, I think he just kind of, there's too many things that could possibly go wrong. I mean,
Right.
Aaron, in the real world, he would mentor JJ, and he would do his best with, I think, would get us going. But I mean, any little thing that goes on, you noticed with Aaron the last couple years, I mean, he would cry and pout, and he could easily tear apart a locker room, and I'm our receivers. I'm going to say something that isn't too popular with Viking fans, but Addison and JJ are not the most mature players. I
Right.
mean, you don't want to get them crying.
And that's all you
And
need is throw another one in the mix and have Aaron Rodgers.
yeah,
Right. And that's my
yeah,
argument too here. Speech is what if what if I mean the Steeler team hasn't been playing great over the past few seasons. He comes here. Let's just say that continues. The Steelers don't do any better. He gets in there, throws 2 interceptions and a loss to the Browns, maybe for example, and people start booing him. Then he comes out the next week against the Ravens, for example, and the fans start booing him. I wouldn't put it, and as you and I said off the air, I wouldn't put it by Aaron Rodgers to say, well, you know what, this isn't working. Maybe I will retire and leave the Steelers hanging high and dry. There are so many things like what you're saying that you could see being a possibility. Yes, we can't see the future, but you've been watching football a long time like I have. This is a total possible situation with a guy like Aaron Rodgers. Why put yourself through that? You guys are in a similar situation that we are. You have a rookie. A rookie as of last year, and we have a rookie from the same conference. Who again, I would love to see this matchup maybe in Ireland. Our quarterback, of course, Howard versus McCarthy, which would be an awesome
right.
Big Ten matchup. Ohio State,
Well,
Michigan.
yeah. No, I mean, I know there's only 1 year difference, but I mean, I don't know. I'm old school, and I think you need to let quarterbacks, especially rookie ones, sit
Yeah.
a year. Because, I mean, the pro game, the speed is a lot different than in high school. I mean, college corners, they'll bite on things that pro ones won't. I mean,
And even if you think,
there's just a lot of variables. I mean, if worse comes to worse, I mean, put Mason Rudolph in there. I
right.
mean, he's not great, but I mean, he's servable. I mean,
And once you agree,
he'll get you through the year.
Wouldn't you agree that if you put people through a tough time together, they strengthen amongst themselves? If the Steelers go into a situation with Mason Rudolph or Will Howard, the rookie, and you're going to go through your bumps and your bruises, but at the end of the day, if you want maybe Will Howard to be the quarterback of the future, you have to let these guys. And again, don't get me wrong, I agree with what you just said. If Mason could start. I would love Will Howard to sit behind him for at least a season. But if you have either of these guys who aren't your ideal quarterbacks at this particular time, the team could gel together. You know what? These are tough times. Let's take these lumps and come out the other end a tougher group of guys. And that way, when you are ready to place your quarterback of the future in its spot, as you said earlier in the show, everybody else is in place. You have everything else in place. Offensive line is in place. Skill players in place. Defense. And then you can stick your Will Howard in the spot or whoever they may draft next year, whatever the case may be. But I agree with that 100%, Speech.
Right. I mean, pick your spots. I mean, maybe let Will play in the preseason. I mean, if there's a couple games where like you're way ahead or you're getting killed, maybe put him in for some mop-up duty.
Absolutely.
But I mean,
right.
You don't want to put too much pressure on him early. The case I always point to is David Carr. Look, I mean, Houston throw him in. He got sacked so many times. He's terrible.
Yeah.
Let me ask you about this. Now, I just heard that Kalen Williams, he wanted to go to Minnesota, which I don't blame him. And he even told the Bears GM Poe that, hey, I'm not going to Chicago. And Poe was like, well, we're going to draft you anyhow. I mean, I don't know. What did that say about Chicago as an organization? Because, I mean, they always say Chicago, that's where quarterbacks go to die.
No two ways about that. And especially now, speech that the NFC North is so strong. And Minnesota came out as a team that could certainly be a power in the Detroit, what they're being able to do. And again, Green Bay, they hit double digits in the win column last year as well. So it just makes you think, no matter what it is Chicago is going to do, they're just going to be Chicago. And as you said, who is the best quarterback? I mean, realistically, that's come out of Chicago. The top three, in my opinion, would have to be Jim McMahon because he won a Super Bowl, Rex Grossman because he took him to a Super Bowl, and then maybe Jay Cutler just because he did a lot of things in Chicago. But those are three quarterbacks that you would certainly say aren't great quarterbacks by any means. Chicago just never, ever gets that guy.
Now, I mean, that just kind of helps my point. I mean, I don't know. Like I said, I mean, I always think the quarterback is like your last piece. I mean, the GMs are always like, well, it's the first piece. Well, no. I mean, any quarterback, if he's an NFL guy, you build a good offensive line, good receivers, good back. I mean, he's gonna have time to find these people.
Yeah.
I mean, Rex Grossman, he wasn't that good of a
He
quarterback.
wasn't. That's what I'm saying. I mean, this was, one of the two quarterbacks that led them to a Super Bowl. He wasn't that good. And even going back to that great team in the, Super Bowl 20, the Bears, come on, Jim McMahon, look at his career. He wasn't a great quarterback.
Well, they had a huge offensive line.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And you know what? Without Walter Payton, without all the, they had a lot on that team. It wasn't like Jim McMahon had to win many games. They went, I think, 15-1, if I'm remembering right, and
right,
and just blew their way through the playoffs. I think they had 2 shutouts. They gave up 3 points in the NFC Championship, and then just a 10 to New England. So, I mean, that defense that Chicago had was otherworldly.
I still remember. The refrigerator Perry scored a touchdown and Walter Payton didn't.
That was absolutely fantastic. As a child, because I was still a kid in the 80s, but as a kid, I really, really took to that because that was the big story. The Super Bowl shuffle, refrigerator Perry running and getting a touchdown. It was, definitely during the times I was growing up, that was such a big story. And in my young child mind, I thought, the Chicago Bears, they're just, one of the best teams ever. And then you find out that they are just the Chicago Bears.
Well, here's another thing that kind of goes to my point. I mean, in the early 70s, you guys won 4 Super Bowls.
Right.
Now, you had a great offensive line. You had Franco, Rocky. You had good receivers. I mean, Terry Bradshaw was a good quarterback. I mean, he wouldn't turn over the ball, but I mean, I wouldn't say he was a great quarterback.
I agree.
It was just your line gave him time to find Swan and Stallworth.
And if you look at his numbers, speech, and a lot of people don't know this, but some people do, his numbers for his career are right around the same as his touchdowns and his interceptions. It wasn't like Terry Bradshaw was out there putting up all these crazy numbers and he wasn't giving up the picks. They're pretty close. I don't know what they are, speech, but I mean it's within 5, his touchdowns and interceptions in his career. So that's a great quarterback.
Yeah, sometimes I mean you don't need to be great. Just have a good manager. Just don't force the ball in. Take care of the ball. I mean, that stat in football is like it's people don't rely enough on it. I mean, the turnover ratio.
Yeah, for sure. Let me ask you this. Now, you talked briefly about Kevin O'Connell, the head coach. You guys have to love him. It seems like ever since Kevin O'Connell got there, they've just everything's been going well and getting better. And every season, and again, 14-3. I can't get over that enough because 14-3, there's most teams in the NFL has never reached that plateau of getting 14 wins in a season. So that's why I really try to press that through. That was a very big accomplishment what Kevin O'Connell and these Minnesota Vikings were able to do in a division where Detroit was so good last year, in a division where Green Bay was really good. So these guys really have to love the head coach, Kevin O'Connell, in Minnesota right now.
Right. He got 14 wins twice. I don't know. I love him. Every time after a game, I love to watch his post game interviews, his talk to the team. He's very positive. He's always like, we need to build. We're always building. We're moving forward. He's not a negative guy. And to tell you the truth, like what I was talking about earlier, I mean, old school back in the 70s and 80s, you could kind of be a little more aggressive with your players,
Right.
because they would listen to them. But nowadays, everyone is making, a lot more than the head coach. So
Which
you
doesn't
got
seem
to
right.
kind of like please their ego. You got to like, well, you're on the right track. You just need to keep going.
And that's such a weird situation, Speech, because where else in the world does anybody make that much more than their boss? So it's a
Well,
very unique situation. You have to try to get these guys to listen to you and to take into what you're putting together. And sometimes that's tough when these guys come from their mansions, from their their limousines, and now they come here and they have to work with somebody who doesn't have the standard or the stature, the money, anything like that. So it really is a unique situation what NFL coaches go through, and of course the other major sports in America, but specifically in this case, the NFL. That has to be a really tough situation for head coaches.
well, true. My brother's a major league scout, and I always ask him, how do you coach today's players?
Right.
I mean, even he's baffled, because I mean, you gotta kind of be a psychologist too. You gotta like please their egos and
Right.
stuff.
Not only a coach, you got to be a psychologist. You got to be a coach.
Yeah, I mean,
Certainly not
how
getting
do you get these guys to play for them? You gotta
right.
motivate them. I mean, and that comes from, I mean, nowadays you gotta know the player. You gotta know his family. You gotta know what motivates him.
And and you got 53 guys in the locker room, and you got to try to figure out a way to get all these 53 millionaires on the same page for 3 hours
Well,
every week to figure out how to be successful in the NFL, which is not an easy thing to do.
well, true, and that's why you don't want a prima donna like Aaron coming in and screwing everything up.
Right. I mean, the task itself is difficult enough. But then when you let
Yeah.
these personalities come in and take over, like an Aaron Rodgers. So again, that's a big issue right now. People, like I said, there are people that every day they're on the internet, they're on social media. Oh, is today the day? Is today the day we get Aaron Rodgers? I don't get the love. I don't get what they want. Again, I would rather have a tough season for once. As the Steelers, it isn't like this team has bad seasons. The fans just don't want to deal with that 1 year, maybe of having a 4, a 5, a 6-win season. To again, maybe come out the other end a little bit stronger than you were, and especially with the draft coming up in Pittsburgh next year, you can certainly take advantage of having a season that's not that successful.
Well, yeah. I mean, I don't know. I think at this point, you guys may want to. The plan is go with Mason or trade for Kirk Cousins.
Right.
Let Aaron go to the Saints or retire. I mean, to tell you that I don't know what Aaron. Yeah, Aaron is just out for himself.
Right.
He has enough money.
And you got to
Let
think,
him.
too, Speech, he is a Green Bay Packer Hall of Fame Super Bowl winning quarterback. At the end of the
Right.
day, this is scraps at the end of his career. Maybe he's doing it just because he still wants to play. Maybe he's doing it because he wants to throw a couple more numbers on his stats. You can't possibly believe, if you're the Pittsburgh Steelers, that this guy's coming in wholehearted, wants to make this team, a great team together, go out, win games, win the Super Bowl. I just, as a fan of the NFL in general, Speech, I can't imagine that could be the thought process of Aaron Rodgers at 42 years old. Again, he's reached a pinnacle. He's won his Super Bowl. He's won multiple MVPs. At this point, I can't in 100 years imagine he would come here and give everything his all and turn this into that team. And especially on just such a short term, a 1 year period of time. I don't like it at all, but there are a lot of Steeler fans that they would love for him to be here next year. I don't understand it, but that's what's going on here.
Well, yeah, I mean, they did this in New York. They hired the coach he wanted. He got the
Right.
player he wanted as an Adams, and it didn't work out. I mean, I think Pittsburgh just
Go with
give it to Rudolph.
Right.
If you have to trade for Cousins. Now, let me ask you this.
Yeah.
I saw something that Kirk Cousins and like the Super Bowl era, he has made the most money of
Yeah.
any quarterback. He even has made more than Brady.
Yeah.
Now, I'm just saying, say you guys get him this year, or you go somewhere else. I'm just
Right.
saying, what job can you get replaced from your job and go somewhere else and get a raise?
Get even more money, right?
I mean, this is incredible.
The things that worries me about him, Kirk Cousins, is this. He gets numbers. There's no two ways about it. The guy slings the ball around, but you know what? He makes a lot of money. He puts up good numbers, but when he's a quarterback of a team, that team just doesn't, they just don't get it done. He doesn't get it done. He goes out there, and as I said, at the end of the year, he does have pretty good numbers, and they do throw more and more and more money at him. But at the end of the day, is Kirk Cousins, especially at this point in his career, I mean, you figure he's not a young guy anymore. Is he a guy that the Steelers would want to throw a lot of money at? And I just don't, again, with the draft coming next year, Speech, we have 12 draft picks going into the draft in Pittsburgh. I think the Steelers are going to want to make a splash. You got guys like Arch Manning coming out of the draft, possibly some other guys. So again, I don't think I would take that money and just throw it at somebody like Kirk Cousins. He's going to get his. He's going to get his numbers because he does. He gets
True.
But that's kind of where I'm at this point. I say we struggle this year. We haven't had a season under 500 in a long time. Why not struggle 1 year? As I said, maybe you come out the other a little bit tougher. You figure out what it is that's the problems are instead of throwing Band-Aids on it. You know what? Let's throw Aaron Rodgers in here, and we'll be good enough, and we'll get some wins. Or let's throw this guy. Let's not throw the Band-Aid on anymore, Speech. Let's start from the inside out. Throw them into the wolves. I'm talking about the team. Let them learn how to be tough together. That way they grow together. That way when they step out on the field with whoever that quarterback may be, their next, the quarterback, it'll be a better situation for him. And as you mentioned, multiple times just so far in this interview, if you put all those other pieces in place, the last piece you stick in is your quarterback, things are going to go pretty good for you. Look at Big Ben in his rookie season coming in. He goes 13 and 1, whatever it was. But it wasn't because Ben was a great rookie. We had a pretty good team in place. The defense was a good defense. So, I think that holds true. And that's why I'm not for throwing money at one of these guys, your Kirk Cousins, your Aaron Rodgers. I just don't see how that could be beneficial. To me, it seems like a Band-Aid to the situation.
Well, yeah, true. I mean, yeah, just let Mason Rudolph do it. Now, let me ask you, hypothetically.
Yeah.
Next year, do you go after Arch Manning? You have Will Rogers.
And that's what's going to get interesting. That's what a lot of people were asking. And it almost seemed that they felt the need, and they did. I mean, we didn't have a great quarterback situation. Of course, Russell Wilson left, Justin Fields left, and even the third quarterback, Allen, he even left. So we needed something. So it didn't surprise me that they got Will Howard late. They seen a guy, he shows potential. The guy won a national championship, but brings a very good question, Speech. What happens next year when Arch Manning is sitting there? What happens next year when you have 12 picks in the draft in Pittsburgh? They're going to want to make a splash. And what bigger way to go out and grab your future franchise quarterback, and especially if the name on the back of his jersey says Manning. I mean, for Pittsburgh, that could be huge. That could be the game changer for this franchise right now.
True. I mean, Manning had that pedigree. I mean,
Right.
That's his whole family thing. I mean, to live and eat football. I mean,
Right. The one thing
I don't know.
The one thing that concerns me is I know the Saints because Archie has ties with the Saints. And if they finish lower than us, but again, we have 12 draft picks, Speech. So I'm hoping we could play that to our advantage, swap some picks around, maybe move up. But I think the Saints could certainly be a big roadblock in that because, I mean, come on, that's not a good football team. They're going out there with no quarterback this year as well. There's a good chance they're going to be sitting in a prime position to pluck Arch if he does decide to come out next year.
Yeah, I mean, New Orleans would be a good landing spot for him. That's where his dad went.
I know.
Now, Archie was a great. I mean, he would have been better, but those Saint teams were just terrible in the 70s.
Absolutely. You know, and that never really changed. The Saints have never really became a good team. Of course, they had the Drew Brees era, but take that away. That's never really been that successful of a franchise, you know. And Archie Manning did do really well, and it was, but the team itself, geez, I would, if I was Arch, I would want to go somewhere else. But again, that's families involved, and that's that's a whole different element. And
true.
Let me move on here though a little bit, Speech. Let's talk about this game coming up in Ireland, of course, at Croke Park, about the fourth game of the season, I believe it is, between the Steelers and the Vikings. Now, you had traveled before, Speech, because you are a huge Viking fan, and I do know this. You had already made the trek to Europe to watch the Vikings play. How did that whole experience play out for you?
I loved it. It's one of the things that I crossed out on my bucket list.
Okay.
I didn't go just once. I went twice. I went first time they beat Saints. I went second time they beat the Jets. I was just saying it would be kind of ironic if after all our talk, you guys did go and get Rodgers because I'm a big Viking fan and I hate Rodgers because he's a Packer fan.
Right.
I would love to beat Rodgers 2 times in a row.
You know what? You also now you traveled not only to Europe. You've been to many different cities here in America to go see your Vikings play. What are some of the places you've gone to see in Speech? And where was the most enjoyable? I mean, of course, Minnesota. You love Minnesota, but where else outside of Minnesota would you say was the most enjoyable experience that you went to see your Vikings play?
Let's see. I've been to LA. I've been to Vegas. I've been to Nashville. I've been to New Orleans. I've been up to Frisco. I would have to say Nashville.
Really?
Just because I love Broadway. I love Second Street. Great barbecue, great music, great town for music and stuff. I don't. That they're kind of tied with New Orleans because I did have a great time on Bourbon Street.
Oh, that would be a lot of fun.
Good Cajun food, good bars. their whole idea down there is to get you drunk. You go in there and order a beer. They give you 3 beers. They want to get you drunk so they can take your money.
Right, right.
I went down there. I went into a bar and they were playing country music and they needed someone to play the spoons on the washboard. So
Nice.
I played that. That was a highlight.
That would be cool. And at that point, you were probably lit too. So hell, it's even funner.
Yeah. But to tell you the truth, I'm partial, and no place could surpass Minnesota. I just love everything. They come out to the Led Zeppelin immigrant song.
Oh, nice.
I come from the land of the ice and snow.
Yes.
I mean, like I say, every time I go to Minnesota, I gotta go in December, which is Viking weather.
Yes.
Now, another time I was talking about Nashville. I went to Nashville when they had the draft a couple years ago.
Okay.
And I sat up on the stage and I met Roger Goodell and a couple of ex-Vikings and Jim Brown. And it was just a great time. I don't know, football's always it's brought a lot of joy in my life. I mean,
I can certainly relate. And I totally hear that. I mean, you're
I'm
probably
a
up there in Minnesota.
diehard Viking fan. I have a brick in front of the stadium that says Purple Prides, Go Vikings, speech impediment, man.
Nice.
So when I die, I'll have 2 headstones.
That's bad.
My ex-wife hated that brick. And I go, the only reason you hate it is that $500 you'll never get your paws
Right.
on.
Right. Yeah, and you know what? And for you, it's more beneficial because, as you said, when you pass one day, that's always going to be there on your team. You know that block. So that, you know what, you made the right call in that one speech. At the end of the day, I really believe that you did. Let me ask you this now. You guys, Coach O'Connell, he did say, from the news that I got, he is not so against this double back-to-back week in Europe, weeks playing their games against the Steelers and the Browns. He says because, you know, by this you can avoid a hostile environment in the sense of going into Pittsburgh or going to Cleveland to play football. I mean, you might have a lot of fans in Ireland that love the Steelers, but at the end of the day, it's still a neutral site, even if we are the home team.
Right, but I mean, like I say, they're 2 road games, so it's not taking any home games away from us. And like I say, I mean, over in Europe, gosh, I've been there. There's a Viking club in Europe. I mean, a lot of fans are very knowledgeable about football.
Right.
They know what's going on. They keep up with it. Football's growing there. Eventually, Roger wants to have every team go over to Europe every year. And he wants to have a team over there. But
yeah, I heard that.
I just think you got to have 4 or 5 teams. I mean, because I mean, the travel's just gonna kill you.
Exactly, and you'd have to build the schedule around that because I mean, look at all the excess traveling that you would have to do if that wasn't planned accordingly.
Right. Let me ask you. I don't know if you remember, but back in the 90s, they had this NFL Europe.
Oh, yeah, of course.
I was hoping that was going to last because, I mean, it had the backing from the NFL. They had teams that were drafted from other teams, and on the players' helmets in the back, they had the emblem of that team. And I don't know why that didn't go on. I
I, you
mean,
know, I was wondering the same thing because it was the Frankfurt Galaxy. I mean, they had a whole list of teams, and,
right.
and they played their NFL Europe season. And as you said, again, they had the logo on the back of the helmet. I thought more would have came of that, but maybe this is an extension down the road where they said, you know what, well, we'll deal with this at another time. Maybe that's what we're seeing here. Maybe that they're trying to implement getting, as you said, I mean, to have every team play in Europe at some point. That's telling you something is going on. There's some wheels in motion. You just don't send teams across the ocean to play football games. It makes me think that they do have some kind of wheels in motion early moving.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I mean, London is pretty much a good spot, but I mean, yeah, you got to have other spots like in Munich
Right.
and other places. Um, do you remember Lawrence Phillips? He
Of
played
course, out of
over
Nebraska.
there.
Yes.
I always thought that kind of brought him back. He was a good back.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, he was like OJ. He started killing people.
Yeah. What a
And that
shame
kind of
because
ends your career right there.
yeah, once you start killing people, that's the end of the road for you.
That's
But
right.
I do remember him out in Nebraska. He was a great running back, and I thought that his career would have certainly went a lot better than it did. But you did just shortly a moment ago. You did mention going back to the '90s when you start talking about these teams. Let me go back to the '90s with you, Speech. You and I talked a little bit off the air prior to this about the 1998 Minnesota Vikings season, where they did in fact go 15-1. They ran into the 14-2 Atlanta Falcons in the NFC Championship game. The sure-footed Gary Anderson, who we know and love very well here in Pittsburgh, wasn't so sure-footed that day. Yins guys, that team was a monster team. I was expecting the Minnesota Vikings to go on and beat Denver in the Super Bowl that year. It didn't happen that way. Speech, that the way that played out, that had to be such a heartbreaker for Vikings fans.
Well, to tell you the truth, I mean, we were not really a complete team.
Right.
I mean, our only loss was to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and that
Yes.
head coach was Tony Dungy, and he used to coach the Vikings, so he knew how to beat us. Now, John Randall was hurt that game,
Yes.
and John was a big key on our defense. But you're right, our offense, I mean, we just basically had to rely on outscoring every team, and we just had Randy and Chris Carter and Jake Reed and Robert Smith, and we could do that.
I was going to say, who was the running back? It was Robert Smith on that team, correct?
Robert Smith.
Out of
Now,
Ohio State. Yeah.
yeah, whenever we were in trouble, throw it up to Randy. I mean, Randy is unbelievable. He's a freak of nature.
You guys were really lucky
But
to get to enjoy him for the
yeah.
majority of his career.
Now, speaking of receivers, we have his son trying out for our team, and all the reports are he's doing pretty good. And wouldn't that be something if he ends up having a good year? And we play the Cowboys this year, and he does what Rodney does. He tears them up and goes for 3 touchdowns.
And even just right here on the show, I brought that up about a week ago. What the deal was with Randy Moss's boy? Of course, his older son Thaddeus came out of LSU a few years ago. He didn't quite work out, but maybe, just maybe, this son could come along, and if he could do it in Minnesota, what a story! What a story that would be. Is he also a wide receiver? Speech?
Yes, he's a receiver.
Okay.
But from what everything I've said, he's kind of more of a possession receiver, like an Adam Thielen or a Chris Carter.
Okay, hey, that's a good set of hands to have. I mean,
right. Chris
Yeah.
Carter was, I think he is the best receiver I've ever seen.
Oh, no two ways about it. And especially, here's the thing about that Minnesota team that Chris Carter was on, and I mean, the guy had a million touchdowns. It wasn't like this. He never had a guy that was a prolific quarterback throwing it to him. you know, it was Randall Cunningham's, and it was guys like this, and he was still able to put up the numbers he did when it was all said and done. Chris Carter, one of the most productive careers, in my opinion, as a wide receiver in the NFL, yet he doesn't get that credit as, you know, Jerry Rice or some of these other gentlemen do. Chris Carter was one of the best to ever do it.
Yes, and he was a smart runner.
Yes.
Smart receiver, good route runner. I mean, this is my biggest knock against JJ. I mean, if you notice in pregame, JJ is always pressing these one-handed catches and stuff, which, I mean, they're okay, but I mean, Jesus, dude, I mean,
Right.
get a hold of Chris Carter or Thielen and learn how to run some routes.
Right.
I mean, I know, I'm just saying, I mean, how many there, I've seen a lot of games we've played Philadelphia and other teams where, I mean, you just bracket run, they throw a guy on him and a guy over him, and he can't get out of it.
Right.
Get him to learn how to run a correct route and get open. I mean, that's what makes a Cooper Kupp so good.
Right.
I mean,
yeah.
and then Adam Thielen. I mean,
Yes. He was always so
good
solid.
route runners and stuff.
Absolutely. Let me dig a little bit deeper into your pastor speech. Now, you are a Cali guy. You're always been from a California gentleman. But this Minnesota Vikings team, they took your they grabbed you by the heart back in the day. What was it about Minnesota that took this California boy and turned him into a Minnesota Viking fan?
You know what? I don't know how old you are, but I'm 64, and back I could remember watching NFL highlights with Pat Samaranch and
Right.
Tom Brooksire. 1969, we played the Detroit Tigers in Old Briggs Stadium on Thanksgiving, and it was snowing and the mud, and just tough defense. Jill Cap running over linebackers. Bud Grant, Stoneface, just great teams back then. And
when did you turn into the Purple People Eaters? When was it? It would be great. I don't want to lose speech for the end of this interview. But the Steelers again. There he is. Hey, speech.
hey,
Can you hear me? Can you hear on your end, bud? Hey, what's up, man? I don't know what happened. It may be because we do have big storms going across the country, speech. It could be connection issues.
Hey,
brother.
I don't know what.
Hey, you know what? All that doesn't matter because we found out how to get you back, and that's all that's important, sir.
Right.
But I have a lot. I still have a few things I do want to ask you about here. Speech. Now that we have you back.
Hey, before I leave, I want to do one thing.
Absolutely.
Go.
Well, you know what? Let me get you. I still have a few questions. I'm going to keep you for a few more minutes. I'm not going to get rid of you just yet. Speech. Who is your favorite Viking right now, and who is your favorite Minnesota Viking of all time?
My favorite Viking of all time is Alan Page.
Okay.
Purple People Eaters, came from Notre Dame. First defensive player to win MVP 1971.
Wow. Okay.
Right now, my favorite Viking is, well, okay, let me just say recently, my favorite Viking was Adam Thielen, just because, like I said, I like the scrappy guys. I like the guys that work a lot.
Yes.
That aren't that talented, but I mean, don't mouse off. They just put their nose down, do their job.
And the work ethic and the heart of those guys bring them success. And as you said,
Correct.
they're not as talented as the
Correct.
top receiver. I love that.
Now, I'm always a defensive guy, and this guy, we brought him in. He was a free agent. I think we got him from the Giants. His name is Alex Van Pelt, I think.
Okay, yeah.
Number 43.
He's tough, yes.
He's all over the field. He made a couple interceptions at defensive end. Van Kinkel.
Yeah. Is that what it is? I know it's something Ginkle.
Yeah. He made a couple interceptions at defensive end, just putting his arms out. He's collected a couple fumbles. He reminds me of a Max Crosby or a John Randall. He's always got that motor going.
Right.
He's all over the field, and we re-signed him. Now, we had to upgrade our defensive line. We signed a couple guys. We needed some bulk on the defense line to cause we were just getting killed up the middle.
Right.
And we have some good linebackers, and we gotta get some good linemen to keep those offensive linemen off the defensive guys. I mean, not what I mean. People are always stat people. I mean, how many tackles you made, how many sacks. No, number one thing as a defensive lineman, if you could tie up 2 or 3 blockers and keep guys off your linebackers and let your backers roam, I mean, you're a good asset to the team.
And we know that because I just, a player that was on our last Super Bowl teams, Casey Hampton, the nose guard. If you remember how big Casey was, he would absorb 2-3 blockers sometime.
Right.
And that allows the linebackers to do so much more and be more productive.
Right. We had a guy, Kevin Williams, and we had Jerry Ball in the past in the 90s.
Yeah.
And they could tie up a couple blockers and let our linebackers roam.
Now, let me ask you, I'm going to get some predictions because I don't want to keep you too much longer in your speech, but give me a Minnesota Viking prediction first. Again, 14-3 last year. That's a pretty amazing season. Does this team, are they able to hold up to that this year? Give me your prediction on how many wins you believe that the Minnesota Vikings could pull this year.
I'm saying 12-5.
Okay. Hey. That's a damn good season. I mean, the thing is 14-3 was spectacular. So
now,
yeah,
a lot of them games we won last year, this is where coaching comes in. We've won them on coaching.
Right.
Some of them games we should have lost that we won. We just won because we have better coaching.
It goes a long way.
This year, we have a better team. We could end up 14-3 again.
All right.
But, I mean, to tell you the truth, I mean, I don't know. Now the NFL, they're playing so many games. You're going to kill these people.
Right.
I mean, and they're talking about adding an 18th game. They're going to cut down the preseason.
Right.
You need the preseason to get used to the speed and stuff. And you got to find out if your rookies are any good. I mean, they're going to kill these
It's
people out there.
definitely a change. You're right. Let me ask you this, Speech. Now, this one here, I'm going to ask for another prediction, and I wouldn't expect anything different. But where do you think when the Steelers and the Vikings play in September in Ireland? Give me your prediction on that game. I don't need a score. Who do you like in this game? That's all I care about.
Well, of course, the Vikings.
I wouldn't expect anything different. I just had to ask the question.
21-10.
All right. I
The
like that.
JJ to JJ combo is going to come out.
That's gonna.
Our new defense is going to shut you guys down.
All right. You know what? Sounds very. I mean, come on, it's guys again.
Not to be a dick, but
And you're
if
not.
Rodgers is there, which I hope he is, we'll
Right.
beat him again.
Well, I'm hoping you're wrong on all these, but you know what? It's good stuff. I really do. I love it. Let me ask. Yeah, good.
Your best receiver is Pickens.
Yeah, well, he's gone. We got DK now.
He's gone.
Yeah,
where's he at?
He went to Dallas.
Dallas.
Dallas. Last week we traded George Pickens because he was so much of a pain in the ass. He was just unable to coach anymore. To be coached, and we sent him, and he's in Dallas right now. Our top receiver is DK Metcalf from Seattle.
Now Metcalf is a good receiver. We
He's
have some new DBs. That's I would say the biggest problem with we can't ever seem to get enough good DBs. I mean, they get hurt so many times, and I will say our organization, we used to go more for the small, fast DBs, but now we're widening up. We're getting the bigger, stronger ones to battle the Metcalf.
Yes. Because what are you going to do? Put a guy that's 5'10", 180 pounds on DK Metcalf. You really do have to adjust the way that you're putting teams together. And also, Speech, another thing, it's a pass-happy game anymore. It's not the game that you and I grew up with pound the ball, and then pass. It's a lot of pass now. So if you don't got good DBs, you're kind of stuck in the NFL.
True, but you know what? Nullify all that. A great pass rush.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
That's what we were lacking last year.
Okay.
And I'm looking for a big year out of Dallas Turner. He was the defensive player of the year for Alabama in the SEC 2 years ago. Last year he was kind of injured, but he came on strong towards the end of the year. I'm looking for him to have a good year.
Who's the who's the guy that's been up in sacks every year? He's always like the past 2 years. He's been like top 1 and 2 in sacks. You got somebody who's amazing getting to the quarterback. I can't think of his name off the top of my head.
Are you thinking of Hunter?
I think so.
We traded him to the Texans.
Oh, get out.
He had a good year.
Oh, he had a great year. I thought
it ended up being a good deal because we basically traded ends. We got theirs, Greenland.
Okay.
He was good. He had a good amount of sacks, and he was younger than Hunter.
That Daniel Hunter just kept coming up, and I thought this guy he's gonna win the sacks this year. And
now he out of all our coaches, Mike Zimmer was a great defense coach, and he made Hunter what he is.
Okay.
A sack machine. Yeah.
All right, so
21-10 Vikings. Mason's gonna have a good game. He's gonna run over you guys. JJ to JJ is gonna have a good game. Addison's gonna get a couple.
And anytime that you get a couple of these franchises together, like the Steelers and the Vikings, I mean, come on, these are two great franchises from the 70s, of course. To see these two teams in Europe on a special game like this, it's going to be a good football game. I sure hope that it is, at least. And, we don't go out there and lay an egg. Or I want to see a good football game come September against the Minnesota Vikings and the Pittsburgh Steelers. And here it is. It's a regular season game outside of the country. It's going to be big no matter which way you slice it, Speech.
Yes, it is. Now, I was listening to your podcast, and you had an interesting stat.
Okay.
The series, we lead the series 10-9.
Yes. Yes, you do.
Now, I'm still pissed off over the Super Bowl.
You know what? I was gonna say that the 16-6 game would be the one that you're always gonna remember, even if you have more wins than we do. And I totally get that because I hate the Cowboys from 1996 and I hate the Packers from 2010. So I totally feel you on that, man.
Right. Who's your favorite Steeler of all time?
You know what? There's a lot to choose from, but at the end of the day, who I really seen made a difference in my lifetime on the field was Ben Roethlisberger. I think Ben is my favorite just because of my age. If I was a little bit older, I'd probably take a couple guys off the 70s squad. But from what I was able to see Ben do through the course of his career as an adult, I mean, I was an adult, so I got to watch the whole thing play out. At the end of the day, I liked him. He was a true Steeler quarterback. He was tough. He was hard to take down. He got his nose broke. It was on the side of his face against Baltimore. He snapped it back into place, went out there, won the football game with blood. There's nothing more I like more than the way that what Ben Roethlisberger brought to the Pittsburgh Steelers. So
he was like Joe Cap in the day.
He's my pick. And as I said, it could be a lot of different guys, but if I've thought about this before, of course, I have to go Ben all the time.
Okay. Now, I mean, before I leave, I want to talk about something. I mean, this isn't football related, but
let me give one more football question. Let me give you one more football question. We'll do this, and then we will start getting ready to wrap up. One more prediction I need from you, Speech. This is the way too early Super Bowl prediction. Who do you think from the NFC, who do you think from the AFC is going to be representing in the Super Bowl come 2026 in February? Who do you like? And, of course, it's going to be easy to say Minnesota. Be realistic, and if you think it's going to be Minnesota, throw them in there. Who is your way early pick for the Super Bowl coming up?
It's going to be the loser bowl, the 0-4 Vikings against the 0-4 Buffalo Bills.
Hey, that one everybody would root for. Believe me, I think football fans, if your team ain't in, which in that case mine wouldn't be, I would love to see that Super Bowl with both of those teams being 0-4, knowing that one of them is going to win the Super Bowl. I like that a lot, actually.
There you go. There you go.
All right, what did you have up your sleeve? Because I do still have a few more questions I am going to ask you here, Speech, but you go ahead. I'm going to pass it off to you, sir.
Okay. No, I was just going to say, I mean, back in the day when I was little, you were talking about the Pirates, and I was a big Pirate fan.
Okay.
With Clemente, Starzo, all them guys.
Yes.
And you were like the lumber company, and then you became the Lightning Lumber Company.
Right.
And I mean, you guys kind of opened the door for Dominican players.
Absolutely.
At one time, you were the only team to field a whole Dominican team for one game.
Yes.
And in 1979, you did something that I never seen before. You traded for a head coach, Chuck Tanner.
Yes.
And it ended up working. You won another series. But my point is, I mean, yeah, it's such a shame, such a proud organization. They've had many a good time, and it just seems that your ownership will not pay any money to get anyone any good. This year they paid some money and got Andrew McCutcheon back just
Right.
to get a few people in the stands. But I don't know what you're drawing, but I've been to Pirate games in PC Park. I mean, where I'm like, I bet there's only 5 or 6,000 here. And I mean, I'm totally upset. I mean,
It- and that's
you've
the thing.
got that Horace Wagner statue in front. What would he sing? You
Right.
got Bill
Pop.
Mazeroski, Clemente Starzo. I mean, my favorite player uh, who doesn't get enough recognition is Al Oliver.
Oh, absolutely.
I just, yeah, I hurt for that organization.
And that's the thing. People in Pittsburgh want this team so bad to be somewhat competitive. We're not talking World Series. We're really not. We're talking about being competitive to where at the end of the season, the Pirates might be mentioned as a team that could possibly make a playoff spot. That's all we want at this point. Of course, you wanted to see it get better and better. However, they are. It was a very symbolic franchise. They went through the 70s. They won the walk-off home run against the Yankees in 60. There's a lot of great that happened with this Pittsburgh organization. They won 5 World Series overall. And then once 93 came around and they lost all them guys from that Barry Bonds, the Andy Van Slyke, the Bobby Bonilla team that wasn't able to beat the Braves, it just went downhill from their speech. It's been 32 years, 33 years. And they
Now,
really haven't been able to bring it together. They had a couple seasons about 10 years ago where they made a wild card game.
right.
But beyond that, this team has been pathetic at best. And you hit it right on the head. The ownership, they don't want to pay anybody. They cut a guy last year, a starter all year, because they didn't want to give him a bonus. He was four at bats short of his bonus for the season. So they cut him so he didn't get his 4 at bats so he could get his bonus. This is what's going on in Pittsburgh right now. People are pissed. People are stopping going. They're putting bags on their head. They're really showing the organization that they're displeased. Whether this is going to help, I don't know, because it's been going on for so long. But all we want, Speech, is somebody to at least be in the game at the end of the season.
Right.
We're not talking World Series. We're not talking back-to-backs. We're not talking franchises. We're just talking. Let's be in the picture when the end of the
Now,
season comes around.
maybe you know, does Manny Sanguian still have his restaurant in center field?
You know what? It was there for the longest time. I haven't been up for a couple seasons because this team has been doing what they've been doing. As far as I know, it's still there, but I could be wrong.
Because last time I was there, I met him, and yeah, big deal for me. I loved the Pirates. 70, they were my team.
Yeah,
It's just
the two
a
big
shame.
World
But
Series wins again in the 70s against the Orioles. I mean, that was a damn good team.
right, and I remember that was back when, well, they just started him, but back then they used to play a lot of doubleheaders, and they always had good series against Philadelphia Philly. Then I
Yeah.
remember I would come home and look at paper and see how they did against the Philly. That was kind of 78 when you were more of the Lumber Lightning
You're
Company
right.
with Omar Moreno and stuff.
Absolutely. What a shame. It really is, because there's no other franchise nowadays that's even comparable to the Pirates besides for the Cleveland Browns in the NFL. It's a joke. I wish they would do something. I just wish that somebody that would come in that actually has an interest of winning baseball games. This guy, Bob Nutting, I mean, we're losing our minds with him. And what are you going to do? We're just the fans. You know what I mean? You could,
Well,
you want this ship to be righted, but what can we do?
right. I kind of went through that in Nashville. I mean, we were good. We made the Super Bowl, and then
Yes.
Bud Adams passed away, and he left the franchise to his 2 sisters, and they didn't know anything about football, and
Right.
so we just kind of squandered and did nothing for a couple of years.
All right. We're going to round third here, Speech. Again, I don't want to keep you too much longer. I've kept you for a while here, but I do have some questions for you. Let's talk about you. I want to talk about Speech for a couple minutes before we do wrap it up. Now, I think it's known that you do work at the Laugh Factory out that way. Do you still do your stand-up?
Well, yeah, I still do my stand-up. Yeah, in fact, there's this place called Jade on Water here out in Long Beach, and I just got a gig there through my
Nice.
buddy Jason Collins. He's a comedian.
Okay.
Being on Howard Stern really helped me out. I mean,
Absolutely.
I know a lot of comedians, and I get in the club and I get gigs. Howard, back in the day when Artie was on,
Yes.
was a big thing. I mean, I would say probably 7 out of every car had Howard on every day.
Yeah.
And it was just unbelievable. I mean, when I lived in Nashville and I would drive up to like Chicago or Louisville for these gigs, I would stop at these trucker places to get gas, and every trucker has Sirius radio on. And like, soon as I open my mouth, they go, "Your speech impediment, man."
How cool is that, Speech? How cool is that?
Great.
You know?
It was great. I'll tell you something. This is really funny. When I got married in the early 2000s, my wife wanted me to get a colonoscopy test.
Right.
So I went to Vanderbilt to get one, and I'm talking to the doctor beforehand, and I noticed he had Sirius radio in the office. And it came up, I go, "Oh, so do you listen to Howard Stern?" And he goes, "Yeah." And I didn't tell him who I was, but he just automatically goes, "Your speech impediment, man."
Get out. That's awesome.
Yeah. And I'm
Wow.
like, can we talk to this about this later? You kind of got your hand up my ass. And he's like, "What do I tell all my friends? I was inside speech impediment, man." And I go, "Well, you might not want to phrase it that way. They might think I'm gay or
Well, that's amazing. You know, what other opportunity or what other chance or situation would you be in life that it could be that?
That's right.
You know, let me ask you a couple questions about the days of Stern. Who is your favorite crew of the Stern crew? Favorite member? I'm sorry.
Okay. Okay. I'll give you the crew, and then I'll give you the whack pack.
Perfect.
Now, of the crew, he was mainly like, he started Howard Stern News, and then he became like in charge of all the whack packers with the Shuley Agar.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Now, I started doing comedy with him in the 90s in Vegas.
Funny guy.
And let me tell you a story. He was running an open mic, and this was like the first year I started comedy. And I walked in, and I told him who I was, and he goes, "Oh, yeah, I've heard of you. Hang out by the bar, get a beer, and I'll put you on in like 10 minutes. So I walk over to the bar, and this is no lie. I go to the bartender, "Give me a beer." And the bartender goes, "I can't give you a beer. You're drunk already." And I go, "What do you mean? I'm one of the comedians. I'm going up." He goes, he didn't know. He goes,
Yeah, right.
He goes, "Yeah, right. You're hammered." And I look down the way, and my buddy Shuley at the end of the bar is laughing his ass off. And he walks over and goes to the bartender and goes, "Nice. Live speech impediment man. Give him a drink." So he
Yeah.
gave me a drink. So
Well, I
that's
guarantee that
pretty
that never
funny.
forget who speech impediment man is, though. Having that experience, he's always gonna say, "Guess what happened to me with speech impediment man one time." Next question I have, do you have a okay, so
Well,
yeah,
well, let me tell you my favorite whack pack.
absolutely. Let's hear it.
He passed away, but it was Elephant Boy.
Now let me cut you off because very early on in this show, about 4 years ago, we did have Fred on, and he was one of my favorite guests because he was a whack packer and he was an awesome person. And we sat there,
Right.
we spoke to one another the way you and I are right now. And he was one of my favorite whack packers. And then when he passed, it was sad times. But now, you know what, Speech, you come along and you're right up there with them. I got to say, Fred was amazing, and he was certainly one of my favorite whack packers. No two ways about it.
Well, okay, to tell you the truth, I do have a speech impediment, but in fact, a lot of fans have told me, they go, out of all the whack packers, you are probably the most normal one. I mean,
Right.
you got a job and I could somewhat understand you.
Right.
Now, I've done shows with Beetle and
He's got to be
Fred.
Beetle's got to be a trip in real life, huh?
I just could not understand what they're saying. Now, Beetle used to crack me up because,
Yeah.
I mean, he would be talking to you and you know how you just nod your head like,
Right.
yeah. You don't know what's happening. But I will tell you a story.
Yeah.
I did a comedy show up in Louisville with Beetlejuice and Shuley and Sal and a couple other guys from
Okay.
Stern.
Sal's one of my
And after the show, I'm like out in back drinking with some fans and stuff. And they have an upstairs, and I wanted to go up there just to see what's up there. And I go up there, and no lie, these two chicks, someone told me they were strippers. They were giving head to Beetlejuice. Now, no, I'm kind of jealous. I'm
right.
like,
I'm jealous.
I'm like, I'm kind of the most normal whack packer.
Right.
I mean,
Right.
and how's Beetle getting blown and I'm not getting anything?
Right. And a week later, Beetle probably didn't even remember that it happened. At least you would be able to treasure it,
Right.
Oh man, you know what? I've been watching some whack pack videos lately on YouTube. A couple of my favorites, of course, Beetlejuice, obviously, Fred, yourself. I've been watching some of the old ones with Eric the actor, Eric the midget. He was great, and then also one of that I just been getting in more to recently is Bigfoot and some of his older videos.
Yeah, Bigfoot is.
I crack up. Speech. I just crack up, man. He's great. They're all great,
How you used to say you'd have sex with the mailman.
Yes.
And you'd so this is Bigfoot. It
is. Yes, and I'm crying every time he says. Artie's over there cracking up every time he says it is, and I sit right here at this very spot and watch on my main computer, and I'll sit here and watch these old whack pack videos, and I'll just be laughing, man. You guys are fantastic. One more question, and then we will let you go.
Well, let me tell you.
Yes, please.
Whenever I go to comedy, comedians try to impress me with jokes, and I'm like, come on, I've been on Howard.
Yeah.
I've thrown baloney at strippers' asses with Artie. I played anal ring toss.
Oh, I loved.
They go,
Lord of the Anal Rings.
Yeah, they go, what did you like about Howard? I go, well, any guy that endorses me to strippers and porno stars and puts me on TV is okay in my book.
Yeah. Absolutely. I can't. I got to tell you, Speech. You are the only guy I've ever known that got to throw baloney at a woman's ass. So you are in a very rare company.
Well, yeah, that's what I always tell these guys. I go, hey, I got something over anyone. I'm throwing
Absolutely.
baloney at Tabitha Stevens'
That was,
ass.
yeah, as Howard Stern, promoted it. I mean, how great of a moment is that? Which leads to my very last question for you, Speech. This is my last question to you, sir, and we will let you go. What is your all-time favorite moment on the Stern Show? It could be tossing something to Tabitha Stevens. It could even just be something small that Robin might have said to the side that really
That was a big thing. Being with Artie and
yeah.
playing anal ring toss
Yeah.
and then throwing baloney at. But I mean, the biggest highlight, Halloween 1996.
Okay.
It's being on the Howard Stern show. I mean, it was unbelievable. I mean,
When
you
did you?
walk in there and you're like, you're talking to Howard,
Oh,
you're talking to Fred, Jackie's right there, Robin's in her booth.
and that
I
was that
mean,
old.
it
That was
was
that old
just
studio. I could picture that studio in my head too, with back in
right.
'96. Yeah.
It was just unbelievable. I mean, yes, they did move to the bigger studio, but I liked the first one, the more cramper one.
Right.
I mean, it just felt, yeah, I mean, I could remember Jackie. He he had a stack of papers, and he like the whole thing was improvised. He would
Right.
hear something, and he'd write something in felt pen, and he'd crumple it up and throw it over to Howard, and
Yeah.
Howard would open it up and talk
And tell
about
the
it.
joke. Yeah, it was amazing. Absolutely. And Jackie was great. And the guy was so damn creative. And as you said, it was all improvised with Jackie. He'd hear something and bang, he'd come up with a really funny joke or a comment or whatever. Fantastic times. In my opinion, the 90s were the golden era of Howard Stern show. No two ways about it. What was your first, when was your first appearance? Was it 96 or was it earlier than that?
Yes,
It was 96.
October Halloween of '96.
Okay.
Lou Ferrigno was on that show.
Okay. Okay. Yes, great times, my friend. You certainly got me in the Howard Stern show and the Whack Pack. Certainly got me through a lot of times in my life, and I thank you for that specifically because I do get to speak to you personally today. But Speech, I do want to thank you so much for being on the show. I got a good chance to learn a lot about you and learn a lot about your love for the Minnesota Vikings and some of the things you got to experience. And it was just been
Well,
a fantastic interview, Speech, and you were always welcomed on the show. And is there anything else that you want to say before we do wrap it up? I do know
I
that you like to.
I love talking sports and stuff.
Yes.
I mean, I'll tell you the truth. When I was a whack packer, I liked all the guys on the Stern show, but today I'm just kind of a comedian and people know me from the Stern show.
Right.
But to tell you the truth, I'm not really, don't have too many comedian friends because they always like to tell jokes, and you always get a feeling we're all competing with each other. I prefer to hang out with guys like you, and I have some other friends that are like sports gurus.
Right.
I could talk sports, talk about the movies and stuff.
Right. Just normal, regular guy things.
Anytime you want to call me, I mean, hopefully we could do this during the season. You could check in and
Absolutely. Absolutely. Especially once we start getting close to that game, Speech, we could make a whole week out of it. We could do whatever you want to do. We'll figure something out. But
okay.
yeah, no, it's you know what? I love the time that we got to talk today. I look forward to the next time. And again, the fact that we do play-ins, guys, and the fact that it is in Europe, and we can make a big thing out of it, Speech, and we could have a lot of fun this fall. But you know what? In the meantime, don't be a stranger, my friend. That you're always welcome here with us. And We loved having you on. And again, Speech, very, very, I'm a fan of yours, and I thank you for doing this for us and with us. And I certainly will. This will be one of my favorite experiences in what we do. So I thank you, my friend, Speech Impediment Man.
Well,
Always
thank
great to have
you.
you.
And if anyone ever says to you, shave that beard off, just say Speech Impediment Man likes it, so I'm keeping it.
You know what? I was on the fence until you said that, Speech, but now I know there's no doubt I know what I'm going to do. The beard is staying. I'm going to look like Rip Van Winkle maybe next time you see me with this beard.
There you go. There you go.
Anything you want to say, my friend, about the Minnesota Vikings before we go off the air? I'll give you 10 seconds because I know you like to tell us how you feel about them. Just,
Purple Pride, Speech Impediment Man. Go Vikings. Go Vikings. Go Vikings. JJ to JJ this year. It's going to be a breakout year. It's happening. We're going to make Prince proud. When I was in Minnesota, I went to Prince's house. Prince was a big Viking fan.
Yes, that's true.
Yes, I come from the land of the ice and snow to conquer new lands, to drive ships into the midnight sun. Vikings #1. Let me ask you, do you have a Steeler tattoo?
You know what? I do not.
Oh,
There's been many times in my life that I thought, let's just go down and get a Steeler tattoo. Just do
you're
it.
not a fan.
I'm not
I
a fan.
got Viking
I know.
tattoo.
You got your Minnesota Viking tattoo?
I do.
You know what?
And I love Pittsburgh. Sometime I would love to come out to your studio.
Come on out.
I used to go to the Comic-Con there.
Yes.
One thing you may not know, the Comic-Con is in Moorville, and that mall was used in Dawn of the Dead.
Yes, the Monroeville Mall. Absolutely. All
There
kind
you
of cool
go.
historical stuff. But you make your way out here, my friend. We will have a blast. I promise you.
And
sir.
I love Perini Brothers.
Oh, yes. Permane Brothers.
Fries on a hamburger. You can't go wrong with that.
You cannot. It's true. Well, thank you so much, Speech. Greatly appreciated, my friend. Great meeting you. Great getting to talk to you. Instantly one of my favorite interviews that we've done on the show. You're always welcome. Again, you make your way out to Pittsburgh. Let's meet up. Let's go out and have some fun, sir.
No problem.
The Two Dumb Yinzers, Speech Impediment
We'll
Man.
have some Steel City beer.
We'll have Steel City beer. We'll have Permane Brothers. We'll do the whole thing, my friend. All right.
Ever go to the Smiling Moose?
Absolutely. Absolutely. We'll go down to the Smiling Moose.
My buddy owned that place.
Okay.
Scarfo, Michael.
Okay. We'll
Tell
head on down.
Speech Impediment Man said hi.
I sure will, buddy. I thank you so much, Speech Impediment Man. Great to see you. I hope everything goes well. We will be talking to you soon. No two ways about that. Speech Impediment Man, everybody. Thank you so much, Speech. You are the best. Go Vikings, except for in week 4.
I'll call you.
Sounds good, my friend.
Hey.
Thank you so much, everybody. Speech Impediment Man, have a great one, sir.
Okay.
We'll be talking
You
to you.
too.
Thank you.
Later.
Later.